Chapter 306. The Stone Warrior and the other puppets were at the semi-god realm. How could a mere 50,000 core beasts and nascent soul beasts stand a chance against them? It was only a matter of time before all of them were wiped out. The three surrendered generals, Qing Xian, Wu Ye, and Wu Yun, looked fearful as they watched the demon army die at an alarming rate. If they did not surrender to Ning Fan, they would probably have ended up like the 50,000 demon army in Munan. Will die. Ignoring the three generals, Ning Fan glanced at Feng Han and the other three. When he first arrived, he noticed the four of them, but he did not pay much attention to them. Only now did he look at Feng Han. After searching through Munan's memories, Xiaoqun knew what happened to Feng Han and the others in Dragon Burial City. You've been planted with demonic seals? I won't hide it from General Bei, that is indeed the case. The other three generals were ashamed, but Feng Han took a step forward and cupped his fists in response. When Wu Ya and Wu Yun saw this, they immediately had a bad feeling. In the past month, in order to obtain the cultivation method of the Feng Yun division from Feng Han, the two of them had tortured Feng Han many times. They must have offended him quite a lot. Judging from how Feng Han addressed Ning Fan, the two of them seemed to have some sort of friendship. Oh no, will I offend Ning Fan because of punishing Feng Han? I can help the four of you remove the demon restriction, but I have one condition. When the four of you return to Feng Yun division in the future, you must befriend Luo Yun. This? General Bei, don't worry. Before the Wind General entered the Third Realm, he had already given the order that the Wind Division and the Cloud Division will form an alliance. We will advance and retreat together. As the demon generals of the Wind Division, we will obey the military order and will not dare to attack the Luo Yun Division on our own. And that's good. The four of you come over here. Ning Fan took a step forward and appeared in front of the four of them. With a flick of his sleeve, a golden-purple mist blew past the top of their heads. Immediately, their faces were filled with disbelief. The demonic restriction that confined his sea of consciousness seemed to have been weathered away by an ancient sandstorm. With a wave of his hand, it actually vanished into thin air. The four generals were stunned for a moment. Then they cupped their fists and bowed. As for Qing Xian and the other surrendered generals, their shock was indescribable. This person's methods are so powerful. The demonic restriction was difficult to plant, and even more difficult to remove. The demon planting restriction requires the user to be willing, but the demon removing restriction requires the user to be one realm higher than the user of the restriction. This Liu Bei is truly amazing to be able to help others remove the demon removing restriction. Ning Fan was not concerned about the astonishment of the crowd. The reason why he was willing to lend a hand was because he had a good impression of Feng Han. It would naturally be better if he could improve the relationship between the Wind Division and the Cloud Division. As a combat force, the four of them would probably be of some use in the upcoming battle. The battle cries in the surroundings gradually stopped, and the ground was already littered with corpses. Ning Fan remained silent. With a wave of his hand, he condensed the demon blood and demon cores on the ground into blood crystals and consumed them. As for the Dao fruits and demon souls, they were handed over to the spiritual puppets to collect. Not enough. Ning Fan looked in the direction of the buried dragon city and muttered to himself. He didn't want to provoke forces other than Kuan-Mo, but many times, even if you didn't provoke others, others would provoke you. On the path of cultivation, there would always be battles. There was no right or wrong in a battle, only victory and defeat. The victor would live, and the loser would die. In front of them was the Dragon Burial City, where the ruthless venerable Dragon Burial resided. Back then, this person was able to block 10 of Lao Xiong's palms. He couldn't be underestimated. He was at the peak divine transformation realm. Moreover, he was in his opponent's territory. Even if he had the Black Dragon refined corpse, Ning Fan did not have the confidence to win. However, he couldn't take this step back. If someone punches you, you have to return the favor. Otherwise, more people will think that you are weak and easy to bully and come to beat you up. The cold qi in his body became stronger and stronger. She ran shivered just by standing beside Ning Fan. The more demon blood he devoured, the weaker the goo poison became. However, The cold qi became stronger. As if it knew that it was about to be devoured by Ning Fan, the goo poison resisted at the last moment even though it was futile. His sea of consciousness felt like it was about to explode. However, no matter how cold it was and how painful it was, Ning Fan did not utter a single word or frown. Liu Bei, is it very painful? If it's painful, just shout it out. Let me know that you don't have to endure it. Shi Ran felt a little heartache even though she did not understand why she felt like this. It's not painful, Ning Fan said stubbornly. Do you think someone will come and save you if you cry? At this moment, Ning Fan seemed to have understood the feelings he had in his previous life. Even if he was just a small and fragile butterfly, even if his opponent was an immortal emperor who could destroy the heaven court with a single palm, he must not retreat. If he takes a step back, he will die. He must not retreat. Even if he will be crushed into ashes by the immortal emperor, he must save her. He must not retreat even if the entire heaven and earth will be overturned by his butterfly wings. If he takes a step back, he will be able to see the world. However, if there is no one in the world, what's the point of taking a step back? This time, close your eyes tightly and don't look. After keeping the golden flame chariot, Ning Fan took a step forward and spread his wings. He stopped. She ran. Purple smoke escape. This escape was filled with his conviction. He was going to turn venerable dragon burial into ashes. Lead the way. Qing Xian originally wanted to say something, but Ning Fan's tone was too cold. He did not dare to say anything else. Under Qing Xian's lead, 21 strong divine transformation realm qi rushed into the dragon burial city. Every time a group of invading enemies was detected, they would immediately fire an arrow to warn them and launch an attack. Without any judgment, Ning Fan's baleful qi had already soared to the sky. His ferocious eyes were glaring. It was obvious that he was here to cause trouble. However, before any of the attacks could get close to Ning Fan and the others, they were directly blasted into ashes by the brutal means of the puppets. The layers of defense turned into a sea of blood. The dragon burial city was already far in front of them. In the middle of the sea of stars, the last pass was heavily guarded. 100,000 sea beasts stood in formation. The roars of 4 wild beasts shook the heavens. Just as Ning Fan and the others approached them, the beasts' roars were already resounding to the sky. Kill. The word kill came at an extremely fast speed. Immediately, it turned into rays of intimidating formation light and condensed into a huge blood-red word, kill, which blasted towards Ning Fan. As the word approached him, Ning Fan struck out with his palm and blasted it against the huge word. Under the tremendous force, it almost forced him to take half a step back. What a powerful joint attack formation technique. Using sound as a formation, using man as the medium, and using the sound of killing to kill the enemy. This word, kill, was comparable to the full force attack of a late divine transformation realm expert. However, he could not retreat. Not even half a step back. He clenched his 5 fingers and crushed the word, kill. Even though the killing qi was broken, it went into Ning Fan's body and destroyed it wantonly. It was the killing qi attack of 100,000 ferocious beasts. He could only defend against it with his killing qi. His body was in pain and his body was being torn apart. However, his eyes gradually revealed a hint of madness. He felt his demon blood boiling and his Tao heart was being corroded by the devil qi. The yin-yang fire that was formed from the 9 types of cold qi and the earth fire was boiling and resonating with each other. His heart had almost lost its rationality. It was as if it had turned into flames. At this moment, Ning Fan suddenly had a feeling that he was a flame. His past experiences in controlling fire appeared in front of his eyes. However, all of them were rejected in the end. His understanding towards flames had faintly improved. Do you think only you guys have killing qi? At this moment, Ning Fan had completely transformed into his Fu Li demon body. His long hair was purplish black and he had 2 horns on his head. His body was covered with purple scales. At this moment, the purple star in his left eye was spinning rapidly. The baleful qi around his body turned into blood-red clouds of evil. Roar! That roar seemed to be venting all the killing he had done in his life. Other than Shi Ran who could be protected, even the stone warrior, Feng Han, Qing Xian and the other divine transformation realm experts felt a chill under that killing chi. What kind of terrifying killing chi was that? His roar turned into blood-red sound waves that seemed to have a substantial substance and exploded among the 100,000 demon army. As soon as that explosion happened, the formation light of the demon army was immediately shattered. He stood in the vast sky of the oceanic domain and took a step forward. This step was not a sword move but the application of his demon power. As he took that step, layers of black fire waves turned into a circle of fire and spread out. Each time he took a step forward, the power of the flames became stronger. When he reached the third layer, the blazing black flames gave people a feeling that they could not look at him directly. Under the spread of the black flames, the 4 early divine transformation realm experts and the 100,000 demon army were engulfed in the sea of flames that stretched 10,000 li. Shi Ran did not dare to open her eyes at first. However, she opened them now because she was too curious. She was originally curled up in Ning Fan's arms and felt cold. However, at this moment, she felt the scorching temperature of the flames coming from all directions. That terrifying temperature gave Shi Ran an illusion that as a member of the profound medicine clan, she would certainly die if she is burned by the flames. What a powerful flame! No wonder he could resist the Guhan. It turns out that he has this flame to protect himself. At this moment, the 3 layers of the sea of flames caused the seawater to boil. The force of his step made the earth tremble. With just a single move, the 100,000 demon army vanished into nothingness. Far away, the buried dragon city shook violently. Countless ferocious beasts soared into the sky and looked at the collapse of the front line with astonishment. A ray of light flashed in the heavenly dwelling. An elderly man in black armor who was as skinny as a match and had 2 horns on his head walked out from the heavenly dwelling. He looked at Ning Fan's direction with a cold gaze. Evil Cold Gu? You must be Liu Bei who was being chased by Kuan Mo, right? You didn't hide from me but came to my buried dragon city to create trouble. How dare you? Do you know what will happen to those who provoke me? I haven't been in the Southern Star Sea for 100 years. It seems like my name has been forgotten by everyone. The 2 black stars in the left eye of the elderly man in black armor flickered intensely. As the black stars flickered, a black dragon might that seemed to be substantial spread out. Under this pressure, countless sea beasts trembled. Even Qing Xian, Feng Han, and the others felt an irresistible force, which made them feel a strange desire to serve the black-armored old man. The might of ancestral blood. You've only refined half a drop of ancestral blood in 100 years, huh? In other words, you only have 1.5 drops left, right? Ning Fan sneered. He put down Shi Ran and took a step forward. As he took a step forward, a dark purple evil aura force swept across the area within 100,000 li of the buried dragon city. The black dragon might of the elderly man in black armor crumbled just like that. Immediately, the elderly man's expression turned extremely ugly. Impossible! You also have ancestral blood. Moreover, you actually have more than me. Who exactly are you? If you can tell me a background that can make me fearful, I might let you go. The elderly man in black armor was actually afraid. A demon with such a powerful aura force must be an old ancestor of a large true spirit clan. Even if this person's cultivation base is just at the early divine transformation realm, anyone who provokes him will certainly die. Especially when the elderly man's gaze fell upon the black dragon refined corpse, he was immediately shocked. A half-step void refinement realm dragon corpse. And it's a royal black dragon. This young man dares to refine a royal black dragon into a dragon corpse. He's really audacious. However, I thought that the royal black dragons no longer exist. Although he could not figure out Ning Fan's identity, the fear he had towards Ning Fan rose for the first time. The elderly man in black armor glared at Qing Xian. It was not because he hated him for betraying the clan but because he hated him for bringing such a strong enemy to the buried dragon city. I don't need any background to kill you. Zhang Long, hand over your ancestral blood and fight me. Ning Fan said indifferently. In terms of aura force, he had already suppressed Zhang Long. It was the best time to kill him. How dare you! Two early Divine Transformation Realm experts soared into the sky and attacked Ning Fan. However, it only made Ning Fan's eyes filled with impatience. Early Divine Transformation Realm is not enough. As soon as he threw out his palm, the two Divine Transformation Realm experts revealed a horrified expression and their physical bodies exploded into a mist of blood. Zhang Long was already afraid. Now that Ning Fan had come to him with such an arrogant aura force, he really did not want to compete with him. However, since Ning Fan came for the ancestral blood, Zhang Long was reluctant to hand it over. If he completely refined the 2 drops of ancestral blood in another 400 to 500 years, he could use the power of the ancestral blood to break free from his star spirit body and ascend to the demon spirit land. He could also join the dragon race and get a decent status with his bloodline. He might even have a chance to become an immortal. Although the enemy was powerful, it was impossible for Zhang Long to hand over the ancestral blood. I didn't expect that the dignified, revered Zhang Long would also have a moment of fear. Do you need our help? It's you guys. The 3 elders of the southern prison country. What are you guys doing here? 1 drop of ancestral blood. The 3 of us will help you kill this young man. 3 winged old men who looked exactly the same as before showed their true forms one after another. Each of them was at the peak Divine Transformation Realm. With the 4 of us working together, even if this young man has a half-step Void Refinement Realm corpse, there's nothing to be afraid of. This young man also has ancestral blood. Even though it can't be extracted, devouring this young man's ancestral blood will also greatly improve your bloodline. If you work with us, you can still keep half a drop of ancestral blood and kill this young man. If you don't work with us, you won't even get a drop of ancestral blood and your clan might be wiped out by this young man. Think about it carefully. The 3 of them threatened him. Their threats made the black-armored old man's eyes turn grim. Alright, after this is done, the 3 of you will get 1 drop of ancestral blood. The black-armored old man sneered. After the deed is done, it would be up to him to decide whether to give the ancestral blood or not. He decided to deal with Ning Fan first. The 3 elders of the southern prison looked at each other and sneered. First, we will work together to eliminate Ning Fan. Then, we will kill Zhang Long and devour the ancestral blood. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. No matter how many experts there are, the buried dragon city must be destroyed today. Moreover, there seems to be a peak Divine Transformation Realm expert hiding in the dark. Are they trying to take advantage of the situation? Chapter 307. The appearance of the southern dungeon's 3 elders greatly boosted the morale of Dragon Burial City. Countless sea beasts raised their heads and roared at the sky. They stared at Ning Fan and the others coldly as if they were dead men. From their point of view, the fact that a mere early Divine Transformation Realm demon beast dared to come to the Dragon Burial City and cause trouble was purely courting death. All of their roars were filled with killing intent and auras. Millions of sea beasts crawled out of their nests and surrounded the 21 experts. Battle cries echoed in the sky. Millions of flames lit up in the sea of stars, dyeing thousands of kilometers of the sea red. These 1 million fire beacons shocked countless members of the oceanic race. These fire beacons were the signal for Buried Dragon City to kill their enemies. Even when the bear demon attacked Dragon Burial City 1,000 years ago, it did not light up 1 million fire beacons in the city. Who is it? Who was it that infuriated Dragon Burial City to the point of mobilizing millions of sea beasts to fight to the death? No one knew that the person who pointed his sword at Venerable Dragon Burial was just a skinny young man. The flames of war burned, the sea of stars was in chaos, and the color of blood dyed it. However, in Ning Fan's eyes, the devil flames were much crazier and fiercer than the flames of the beacon. Even if you have 1 million demon soldiers, even if you have 4 peak soul formation cultivators, you can't back down at this step. Even if there were billions of sea beasts in this star ocean, Ning Fan would not hesitate to fight an army of billions of sea beasts alone since they were his enemies. 1 million sea beasts, 1 million fire beacons, formed into a roar filled with monstrous killing intent. Nearly 30,000 sea beasts stepped forward and self-detonated their demonic bodies, fusing the power of their self-detonation into the roar. Death warriors. This Zhang Long was indeed a formidable person. Most of the soul formation stage subordinates were useless, but none of the low-level sea beasts were afraid of death. All of the power of the self-detonation, the power of the demon blood and the power of the roaring killing intent formed a massive blood-red wave that rushed towards Ning Fan's head. This gigantic wave was comparable to the sure kill attack of a half-step void refinement realm expert. This huge wave had once caused the old bear to retreat at the mere sight of it. So what if you have a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse? This old man has a million demon army, how can you compare? Berry Dragon laughed loudly. What do I have to fear an army of a million demons? Star positioning plate, appear. He patted his storage pouch and took out the star compass. With a point of his finger, starlight formed into a formation diagram, and the star diagram covered 100,000 li. With a single word, the 30,000 lanterns on the star map lit up one after another, lighting up 5,000 silver lanterns. At the moment when the lights were lit up, Ning Fan stepped on the star diagram and held the starlight in his hand. At this moment, he was the lord of the 30,000 starlights. Layers of starlight walls rose from all directions. The combined attack of the million sea beasts could easily tear apart a normal peak soul formation cultivator, but they couldn't break through the starlight walls. What kind of magical treasure is this? Its defense is actually so heaven-defying. Zhang Long's expression changed. Ning Fan has such a defensive treasure. In addition to the golden flame chariot that has a heaven-defying speed, wouldn't he be invincible against those below the void refinement realm and innate realm? However, Zhang Long did not understand why Ning Fan, who was standing within the undefeatable starlight, did not launch any attacks. It was as if he was waiting for all of the enemy's attacks to be completely disintegrated by the star formation. What is he waiting for? Berry Dragon's aged eyes suddenly widened. After the combined attack of the 1 million sea beasts was devoured, the star formation started to become strange. The array light was tranquil, but the killing intent in the array was getting thicker and thicker. He was waiting for the formation light to counterattack. All of his patience was for the sake of accumulating his strength. All of his defense was to deflect the strongest attack. When the aura force of the formation light merged with Ning Fan, he took a step forward. His demon eyes shone brightly and he shouted a word. Reverse. The star positioning plate did not only know how to defend. Its most powerful ability, which made Wei Xian, a former immortal formation master, click his tongue in admiration, was the ability to deflect the enemy's attack. You have a million demon army, I will go against it with a single formation. You are a supreme immortal emperor, I will go against it with a single wing. You are the fate of the heavenly Tao, I will go against it with a single life. Kill! Ning Fan stepped on the formation diagram and roared at the sky. The formation light accumulated all the attacks of the 1 million sea beasts and exploded at this moment. Millions of starlight devil swords poured down like pear blossoms in a storm. Countless sea beasts revealed a terrified expression as they were slashed into a bloody pulp by the star devil sword shadow. The 1 million sea beasts were in chaos and the formation was broken. At this moment, Ning Fan passed the star positioning plate to Shi Ran and took a step forward, rushing towards Zhang Long. With the star positioning plate, no one could hurt Shi Ran. As for the 3 elders of the southern prison and the spirit-severing realm cultivators of Long Cheng, they would be handled by Stone Warrior and the other puppets. Die, Zhang Long! With a roar, the purple star in his left eye flashed and his ancestral blood seemed to be burning. The might of the 4 drops of ancestral blood made the 3 elders of the southern prison terrified. They could feel that Ning Fan had the ancestral blood in his body, but they did not expect it to be this powerful. Especially Zhang Long, who was at the center of the aura force. He was like a lonely boat standing in the middle of a vast ocean. Insignificant and petty, half a drop of ancestral blood was nothing in front of Ning Fan's 4 drops of ancestral blood. Without giving Zhang Long any chance to think, Ning Fan's fist was like a landslide. The shadow of Fu Li appeared and landed on his chest with the momentum of overturning the sea. His speed was too fast that Zhang Long could not see the shadow of the fist. He could only rely on his intuition to face the fist. Black dragon scales densely covered his fist. Zhang Long attacked with all his strength without showing any mercy. In terms of body refinement realm, he was at the 4th level of Jade Life realm, which was 2 small realms higher than Ning Fan. Normally, a casual attack from Zhang Long was enough to kill a cultivator at the 2nd level of Jade Life realm. If he attacked with all his strength, a late Divine Transformation realm expert would be smashed into pieces. However, the result of the clash of their fists caught Zhang Long off guard. Ning Fan was obviously at the 2nd level of Jade Life realm, but the strength of his punch was comparable to that of a cultivator at the 3rd level of Jade Life realm. It made Zhang Long retreat for tens of steps before he could neutralize the force of the punch. Moreover, quite a number of dragon scales on his fist were broken. As for Ning Fan, he broke his demon body and turned into a black shadow the moment the force of the punch came into contact with Zhang Long's fist. As the black shadow condensed, the purple shadow reappeared. Ning Fan returned to his demon body without a single scratch on him. Moreover, he did not give Zhang Long any time to rest and threw out another punch furiously. Every time the force of their fists collided, Zhang Long would take a step back and Ning Fan's body would break. One punch would break the body and one step would condense the body. Each step would break the body and each step would condense the body. Ning Fan's fists were like a rainstorm. His eyes were filled with madness. He was like a ferocious dog that wanted to kill anyone it sees. In just the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, they had already exchanged hundreds of blows. However, Zhang Long only used defensive techniques in these hundreds of punches. Rumbling sounds reverberated throughout the sea of stars. Every time their fists collided, it would cause the hollow space to collapse. Even Zhang Long could no longer relax. His dragon scales were broken and his defense had collapsed. Gradually, injuries were left on his body. Moreover, every time Zhang Long took a step back, his injuries would worsen. On the other hand, every time Ning Fan condensed his demon body, his aura force would become even crazier. His killing intent could not be extinguished no matter what. Everything in this world was just for the sake of exterminating all of his enemies. Incarnation? Who can hurt you when you have an incarnation? Zhang Long was afraid. Ning Fan had cultivated the incarnation technique. No matter how many times he breaks his demon body, he would not be able to kill him unless it is a fatal blow. After these hundreds of punches, black blood kept flowing out from the corner of Zhang Long's mouth. Such a desperate way of fighting had gradually infuriated him. His eyes turned grim. His gaze swept across the battlefield of the Dragon City. There were less than 700,000 sea beasts on his side. There were 3 late Divine Transformation Realm experts, 3 mid-Divine Transformation Realm experts, and 7 early Divine Transformation Realm experts. On the other hand, the enemy had Qing Xian and the other 2 surrendered generals, Feng Han and the other 2 demon generals, 10 black puppets, and Shiran who was controlling 5,000 star lamps and guarding the spiritual puppets. In just the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, 300,000 sea beasts had fallen. 1 mid-Divine Transformation Realm expert and 6 early Divine Transformation Realm experts had died. On the other hand, 4 of the enemy's early Divine Transformation Realm spiritual puppets were severely injured. The battle was in a stalemate and the situation was not optimistic. On the other side of the battlefield, the 3 elders of the southern prison were displaying their own techniques. However, under the attacks of the Black Dragon refined corpses controlled by Stone Warrior, they gradually fell into a disadvantageous position. Zhang Long's heart sank. The demon army of 1,000,000 soldiers could not win. He could not win. The 3 elders of the southern prison were also showing signs of defeat. Could it be that his demon army of 1,000,000 soldiers and the help of the 3 elders of the southern prison were still not a match for a mere early Divine Transformation Realm expert? A wave of killing intent rose in Zhang Long's eyes. He knew that if he does not risk his life like Ning Fan, the Dragon City would probably be destroyed today. He was unwilling to admit it, but he had to admit that Ning Fan's group was indeed a strong enemy even though they did not bring many people with them. He must risk his life. So what if you have an incarnation? Do you think I can't break your incarnation technique? Ancestral Blood Technique, 5 Graves Dragon Technique. Zhang Long stretched out his claw and turned into the form of a dragon claw. A gigantic shadow of a black dragon appeared behind him. His 5 fingers were burning with black blood. Black flames soared to the sky in the starry sky. Wind as the wood dragon, earth as the earth dragon, lightning as the gold dragon, flame as the fire dragon, and ice as the water dragon. When the 5 dragons die, the black dragon will be born. When the 5 elements die, the 5 graves will be born. Every time Zhang Long chanted, black flames would condense into an ancient tombstone above Ning Fan's head in the starry sky. It was as if it was going to smash Ning Fan's head. That tombstone was 1,000 zhang tall. It was filled with ghostly qi. In the beginning, there was only one tombstone. However, in the end, Zhang Long condensed a total of 5 tombstones. Each of them had the shadow of a flying dragon. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. This tombstone technique was obviously a demonic technique. Moreover, it was a demonic technique that was activated by his ancestral blood. Even though it was only at the peak divine transformation realm, a single attack from his ancestral blood was certainly a few times stronger than the combined attack of 1,000,000 sea beasts. As the purple star in his left eye rotated, Ning Fan saw through the true terror of this technique. This tombstone was divided into the 5 elements, and it coincided with the heavenly secrets of life and death. If one is hit by this tombstone and their demon body is destroyed, they would not have the chance to reform their incarnation. Their demon souls would be sucked away and sealed by the tombstone. The expressions of the 3 elders of the southern prison changed drastically. These 5 tombstones coincided with the heavenly secrets of the 5 elements. They possessed the great power to seal demon souls. Even if the 3 of them joined forces, they could at most destroy 3 of the tombstones. At least 2 of them would be devoured and sealed by the remaining 2 tombstones. This technique is too strong. Those below the half-step void refinement realm won't be able to withstand it. It's no wonder that Zhang Long could stay alive from Old Bear's attack. With this technique, who among the peak divine transformation realm experts would be a match for him? The 3 of them felt bitter. Initially, they planned to eliminate Ning Fan and then work together to kill Zhang Long and seize the ancestral blood. Now, it seemed that not only Ning Fan and the others were strong, but even Zhang Long was also a ruthless person. It was really a mistake for the 3 of them to get involved in this mess. They were afraid that they would not get any benefits in the end and would get themselves into trouble instead. However, the 3 of them did not have the time to regret. They had already offended Ning Fan. Now, the only thing they could do was to use all their strength to kill Ning Fan to avoid offending Zhang Long further. This tombstone, there's no doubt about it. It's the ancestral blood secret technique of the Black Dragon clan that has been lost for generations. Even though it looks like it's real, its destructive power is enough to severely injure a half-step void refinement realm expert. Liu Bei, don't lose. She activated the star positioning plate to defend herself, but her eyes were filled with worry. The same worry also appeared in Stone Warrior's eyes. As a puppet of the upper world, he had participated in the war between realms. Naturally, he knew how terrifying the ancestral blood secret technique was. If the ancestral blood technique is used by a heavenly demon old ancestor, it would be enough to destroy a planet. Even if it's used by a peak divine transformation realm expert like Zhang Long, those below the half-step void refinement realm would not be able to withstand it. I have to control this black dragon refined corpse and help him. Stone Warrior's eyes turned cold. He stepped on the black dragon and wanted to help Ning Fan resist the tombstone technique. However, the 3 elders of the southern prison saw through his plan. They chuckled coldly and blocked his path of retreat. Our battle hasn't ended yet. Are you trying to run away? The 3 elders of the southern prison were not a match for the black dragon refined corpse. However, they could still stop Stone Warrior from helping Ning Fan. From their point of view, as long as they can stop Stone Warrior for a while, Zhang Long would certainly be able to kill Ningfan. Then they would split into two and kill Stone Warrior and the Black Dragon. Delay. The three elders just need to delay for a while. Even though they would not dare to ask Zhang Long for the ancestral blood, they would certainly gain a lot of benefits. Damn it. Stone Warrior was furious, but he could not break free from the entanglement of the three elders. I really can't understand why a puppet of your grade who can control such a powerful refined corpse would listen to the command of an early spirit-severing realm ant. The three elders of the southern prison sneered. You called him an ant? Stone Warrior's eyes were filled with sarcasm. Eh? How many people had mocked Ningfan for being an ant? What happened in the end? Before this, Stone Warrior also did not expect that Ningfan, who had a nascent soul realm cultivation base, would be able to capture him, a dignified spirit-severing realm cultivator. Before this, Stone Warrior also did not expect that Ningfan could roam the external endless sea and enter the secret realm alone without attaining the spirit-severing realm. Before this, Stone Warrior also did not expect that Ningfan would be able to dominate the Luo Yun continent once he attains the spirit-severing realm. Now, he could even make a name for himself in the entire Star Sea. This kind of person only got to where he was today by killing. He had stepped over the corpses of countless geniuses and fought against countless old monsters. If this kind of person is an ant, then who else in this world is not an ant? You will regret calling him an ant. Stone Warrior looked at the three elders with disdain, as if he was looking at three dead people. The Star Sea will be turned upside down because of him alone. Stone Warrior did not say anything else because a gust of violently purple-golden wind had already risen from his body. If the 5 burial dragon technique borrowed the power of life and death to seal a demon's soul, then this purple wind mist would use a higher level of samsara power, which was even more powerful than life and death. Samsara. A wave of indifferent aura force formed in Ningfan's eyes. A gust of golden-purple wind and sand swept across the dragon city. Looking at the 5 ancient tombs that were hovering in the sky, Ningfan made a grabbing motion with his hand. All the spiritual qi in the ocean within 100,000 li was gathered into his palm. Soul extraction. It's actually the soul extraction technique. This kid not only knows the incarnation technique but also the soul extraction technique. Zhang Long's face was filled with shock. However, he gritted his teeth and changed his hand's seal, causing the 5 giant tombs to fall at the same time. Naturally, he could see that the golden-purple wind and sand were powerful. However, he could also see that Ningfan's Tao was not in this technique. No matter how powerful a technique that was not integrated with Ningfan's Tao heart was, it was just a facade. It was enough to instantly kill a late spirit-severing realm expert, but it would be difficult to kill a peak spirit-severing realm expert. It would be even more difficult to break his 5 burial dragon technique. The force of the 5 tombs falling at the same time shattered the void within 1,000 li. However, Renwu Mu's aura was like the sky. Ningfan did not even lift his head. He closed his eyes and swallowed the earth soul. His magic power increased all the way to the late spirit-severing realm. In front of his eyes, he recalled the ordinary life in Wu country, the humiliating days in the all-pleasure sect, the blood sea cultivation in the demon sinister forest, and the patience and compromise he had when he traveled around various countries. In the end, all the memories stopped at the snowstorm in 7 Apricot City and the eternal smile of Jiha. The golden-purple wind and sand in the surroundings began to change. Ningfan stood under the plum tree that was condensed by devil qi. On the plum tree, the dark red blood plum blossoms that were condensed by the rain intent bloomed quietly. At this moment, he opened his eyes and raised his head. His gaze was as deep as the void as he looked at Zhang Long. This gaze was as deep as the vast starry sky. It wanted to suck Zhang Long's mind into his gaze. What kind of gaze is that? Zhang Long's expression changed drastically. At this moment, all the golden-purple wind and sand turned into black snowflakes. Each snowflake was different and had its own trajectory. Each snowflake was pure black, formed from the power of the void. The wind and snow swept across 100,000 li. However, it carried a trace of loneliness and desolation. In the loneliness and desolation, there was a trace of deep attachment. The loneliness was the loneliness of the journey. The desolation was the exhaustion of the blood sea. The attachment was the unforgettable face in the snowstorm of 7 Apricot City. Jiha, I miss you. At this moment, Ning Fan waved his sleeve. At this moment, a strange black wind and snow swept across the Dragon City. No one could stop it. At this moment, the 5 imposing eyes were frozen and shattered in the wind and snow. At this moment, Zhang Long's eyes were filled with shock. His magic technique was broken. He took a few steps back before he could stabilize himself. He coughed out black blood. Half of the blood had been frozen into ice. What magic technique is this? He did not understand. Zhang Long was destined not to understand the profoundness of this technique. It was because he had never seen the face of Samsara. He had never seen the Tao of the strongest expert in this world, immortal Emperor Zido. The 3 elders of the southern prison were afraid. In this wind and snow, the 3 of them had the feeling that they would be devoured by the wind and snow. Insignificant and lowly, even if you are a true immortal, you will still have to bow down to my samsara. The immortal emperor's understanding of samsara was to let everything return to dust and dust return to dust. He would forget everything in the past and let everything turn into dust. However, Ning Fan could not forget everything. He had too much reluctance, too many attachments. If reincarnation wanted to take away his true love, he would seal reincarnation in ice for all eternity. Wind and snow finger. Frozen samsara. Ning Fan pointed his finger. An unimaginable chill rushed into Zhang Long's body and soul, leaving him without a master. As he pointed his finger, Zhang Long was terrified to find out that his blood, demon power, sea of consciousness and demon soul were frozen. Every inch of his flesh and blood was frozen in the wind and snow. He was terrified to find out that Ning Fan was walking towards him step by step. However, he could not escape or move because he was already a piece of ice. He was even more terrified to find out that the 100,000 li of buried Dragon City had been frozen by Ning Fan's finger. With a flap of his demon wings, Ning Fan appeared in front of Zhang Long. Everything happened in the blink of an eye and he struck with his palm. Zhang Long's frozen body turned into jet black ice shards under this palm strike and he died. The wind and snow finger broke the ancestral blood technique and killed the city lord of buried Dragon City. The wind and snow finger almost used up all of Ning Fan's strength. At this moment, it was difficult for him to even move. After Venerable Dragon Burial was killed, the remaining sea beasts of the Dragon City were all terrified. None of them had expected that Venerable Dragon Burial who could dominate the Southern Star Sea and fight against a half-step Void Refinement Realm expert would die in Ning Fan's hands just like that. Zhang Long's storage pouch fell into Ning Fan's hands. Within it, there was a dark golden jade bottle which contained 1.5 drops of black dragon ancestral blood that had yet to be devoured. The 3 elders of the southern prison were already frightened to death. However, as Zhang Long died and Ning Fan's magic power was exhausted, the 3 of them began to covet the ancestral blood. The 2 and 3 elders tried their best to stop the black dragon. As for the eldest, he flapped his wings and rushed towards Ning Fan recklessly. Brat, you're strong to be able to kill Zhang Long. However, you have already exhausted all of your demon power. It's as easy as flipping my palm to kill you now. Give me the ancestral blood. Boom! The palm strike landed on Ning Fan's body, but it only dispersed the layers of black shadows. The black shadows condensed again. Ning Fan stared at the eldest with eyes full of killing intent. You want the ancestral blood? His gaze made the eldest of the southern prison's soul tremble. Although he knew that Ning Fan had lost all of his combat strength, he still could not suppress his fear towards Ning Fan. Give me the ancestral blood. Otherwise, no matter how powerful your techniques are, you will definitely die under the pursuit of my southern prison country. I will die? Ridiculous. Why should I give you the ancestral blood? Who do you think you are? Ning Fan's eyes were filled with madness. It's not enough. It's still not enough. I want to kill until no one dares to chase after me anymore. Ning Fan crushed the jade bottle and consumed a drop of golden black dragon ancestral blood. At the next moment, black flames spread out from Ning Fan's body. At this moment, his aura force was comparable to a half-step void refinement realm expert. Blood ignition. He actually ignited the ancestral blood of the black dragon that he had painstakingly obtained. He wanted to use the power of this ancestral blood to sweep across the entire Star Sea. Not good. The eldest of the southern prison was shocked. He's a madman. He's a madman who is willing to ignite his ancestral blood. Anyone who receives the gift of ancestral blood would refine it into the power of their bloodline to improve their innate potential. However, this person did the opposite and ignited the extremely precious ancestral blood. He's a madman. I can't afford to offend him. I must run. After igniting the ancestral blood, the current Ning Fan was enveloped by the aura force of the dragon ancestor. He was invincible in the Star Sea. Second brother, third brother, run now. Trying to run? It's too late. Ning Fan's entire body was covered in black flames. As he took a step forward, black flames appeared out of nowhere and engulfed the leader of the southern prison. In an instant, his physical body turned into ashes. The 2 old men and the 3 old men did not even have the time to grieve when they saw their eldest brother die. At this moment, Ning Fan had ignited his ancestral blood, giving them a feeling of powerlessness that they could not defeat. He had to escape. In a flash, the 2 of them flew towards the south. Ning Fan sneered. He did not even look at the 2 of them. His eyes fell on the void space at the side and he shouted coldly, "You get out here." A furious roar shook the void. A figure that was hiding in a panic fell out from within and immediately begged for mercy. "I am the Grand Elder of the Ghost Head race from the Army Destroyer Star Sea, Din. I beg for your mercy." This person was already trembling endlessly. Buried Dragon died, Southern Prison Boss died. This person ignited his ancestral blood. Before his ancestral blood disappeared, this person killed peak deity transformation experts like crushing ants. Ning Fan did not even look at him. He directly waved his hand and planted a demon seal in Gui Chen's Sea of Consciousness. However, Gui Chen did not dare to resist. He could only obey and let Ning Fan plant the demon seal on him. He could not resist. If he resisted, he would be killed. Who asked him to hide in this place and get ready to take advantage of the situation when both parties are fighting to the death? The sea beasts in this place will live if they follow me to battle. If they don't, they will die. Ning Fan's cold voice reverberated across the buried dragon city mercilessly. 3 days later, on the Star Island, the old bear was holding the information in his hand. His jaw dropped in shock. That kid buried dragon is dead? It was Liu Bei who led the others to destroy it? Liu Bei. The old bear crushed the jade slip. Ning Fan's image was imprinted on it. Damn it. This malefic star is Liu Bei. This malefic star has only been here for a few days and he has already destroyed the entire buried dragon city. Why is he so awesome? Chapter 308. The old bear was afraid of Ning Fan's refined corpse, his ancestral blood and Wei Xian who was a void fragmentation realm expert. However, it was the first time he was afraid of Ning Fan's strength. At least, the old bear knew that it was possible for him to defeat the buried dragon king, but it would be extremely difficult for him to kill it. Ning Fan could do what he could not. It seemed like he had underestimated this person in the past. The demon bear man Shan pondered in silence. Eventually, his honest face showed a determined expression and he passed the order. Pass my order. Cancel the plan to attack the 4 sacred demons. What? Cancel the plan? Kuan Mo and the others intended to attack our Star Island. Why don't we counterattack first and defeat them one by one? Are we waiting for the 4 forces to gather and besiege the Star Island? One of the desolate generals was confused. They won't be besieging the Star Island. Just wait and see. Will they attack the Star Island in order to protect themselves? They won't dare to do so even if they lend them their courage. I wonder, how many of the 4 sacred demons will be left in the end? In the buried dragon city of the southern Star Sea. 300,000 sea beasts were subdued. 2 late Divine Transformation Realm experts and 1 mid-Divine Transformation Realm expert were subdued. The rest were all killed. Ning Fan waved his sleeves and condensed their demon blood and demon cores into blood crystals and swallowed them all. When Qing Xian and the other surrendered generals saw the ruins of the Dragon City, they all sighed with emotion. Luckily, they surrendered fast enough to protect their clansmen. Besides, they also understood that after a short rest, the demon army of the Dragon City would be under Ning Fan's command. They would be his strength to sweep across the entire Star Sea. Stone Warrior was busy collecting demon souls while she ran obediently returned the star positioning plate to Ning Fan. The scenes of slaughter made her originally weak heart more determined. However, she still did not dare to face the sea of blood and Ning Fan did not force her. Liu Bei used to be like this in the past, going through the sea of blood again and again. She sighed. The small grievances she suffered in the past were nothing compared to the hardships Ning Fan had gone through. Recalling the times when she cried and was scolded by Ning Fan, she could not help but feel that her past self was a little funny. It's time for me to be more mature. Ning Fan's demon power had been exhausted, but he had already ignited his ancestral blood. As long as the blood flames were not extinguished, he would have inexhaustible demon power. Currently, his demon power had reached the half-step void refinement realm after burning his ancestral blood. He had to exterminate all his enemies before his demon blood ran dry. Ning Fan did not reorganize himself at all. He just plundered all the spiritual herbs in the Dragon Burial City and carried Shi-Ran in his arms. Flapping his purple wings, he soared into the sky. Behind him, 300,000 sea beasts and 19 soul formation cultivators followed closely. The Dragon Burial City's sea region, which spanned thousands of miles, had long been lit up by the flames of war. Countless small forces rushed over and watched, trying to find out what was happening in Dragon Burial City. However, few people dared to stay here when they saw the huge monster army and the terrifying semi-god realm cultivators. It was especially so for Ning Fan, who was charging at the front of the 3 armies. His demon form had purple wings which made him look exceptionally demonic. Black flames were burning around his body in a strange manner. Those who were not involved did not know that Ning Fan had ignited his blood. After flapping his wings, he had already flown 100,000 li away. At this moment, Ning Fan, who had ignited his blood, possessed the strength of a half-step Void Refinement Realm expert and the speed of a Void Refinement Realm expert. Ning Fan took the lead and left the Dragon Burial Sea area, heading straight to the border of the southern prison country. With their terrifying formation, no one in the Dragon Burial Sea area would dare to provoke them. However, as soon as they entered the country, they were immediately attacked by countless sea beasts. Some of these sea beasts came for Ning Fan's evil cold goo, while some came for the ancestral blood. The 2 elders of the southern prison fled back to the country and immediately sent out a request for help to countless sea regions. They claimed that Ning Fan had destroyed the Dragon City and obtained a drop of half-ancestral blood from the Dragon Burial Sea area. Naturally, the 2 of them concealed the fact that Ning Fan had ignited his blood. Otherwise, who would be foolish enough to help the southern prison country fight against a madman who ignited his ancestral blood for the sake of ancestral blood that no longer existed? The evil cold goo could allow a cultivator's spirit sense to break through to the peak divine transformation realm. For the sake of the evil cold goo, there would at most be peak divine transformation realm forces chasing after Ning Fan. However, for the ancestral blood, all half-step void refinement realm experts would come to this place. Countless old monsters who lived in seclusion rushed to the southern prison day and night. Some of them were even old monsters from other galaxies. Ning Fan showed no mercy to these people. He killed all of them. Urgent reports spread like snowflakes. The southern prison had already turned into a sea of blood. The Flying Fish clan and the other 6 small clans had gathered 31 divine transformation realm experts and an army of 1 million demons. The strongest among them was even a peak divine transformation realm expert. However, they were all turned into ashes by Ning Fan in just 9 steps. The Redbone country and the other 5 great demon countries had gathered 42 wild beasts and an army of 1.5 million demons. However, they were all wiped out by Ningfan with a single sword strike. As for the reinforcements of the Eastern Sea Star Dragon and the Western Sea Whale Devil, there were 17 wild generals and an army of 700,000 demons. Ningfan brutally transformed them into a gigantic demon form that was nearly 5,000 zhang tall and devoured all the demon beasts alive. Army Destroyer Star Ocean, 7 killing Star Ocean. Ningfan had already carried out a bloody massacre for 6 days. None of the enemies who stood in his way were spared. The cold chi on his body mixed with the ancestral blood flame. On top of his head, there was a cloud of blood baleful chi that was condensed from the blood of more than 300 wild beasts. Behind him, countless sea beasts in the Dragon Burial City were trembling in fear. Along the way, they did not need to do anything at all. As Ningfan burned his ancestral blood even more crazily, he was almost at the Void Refinement realm at this moment. His name is Liu Bei. He comes from Luo Yun. He is a devil lord who bathes the entire Star Ocean in blood. We must run. We must not provoke him. He ate millions of sea beasts alive. He is a lunatic and a devil. All kinds of rumors spread across the Star Ocean. In the end, those forces that did not have peak divine transformation realm experts did not dare to provoke Ningfan anymore. All of them retreated from the southern prison country. Even if Ningfan really has ancestral blood in his body, no one would dare to snatch it from him. The mountains of corpses and seas of blood had proven that this man was not to be provoked. He is a lunatic. He is a devil lord who takes pleasure in killing. Only Shiran, who was curled up in Ningfan's arms, knew that Ningfan did not feel any joy at the moment. Killing is never a joyful thing. However, there are too many times when you have no other choice. However, if your heart becomes soft and your sword becomes timid, you will not be able to protect anything. However, if you take half a step back, the person behind you will be hurt. He is actually a gentle person. Shiran felt safe and at ease when she smelled Ningfan's manly scent. She knew that this man would not let her suffer any harm. The southern prison province was currently in a state of chaos. In the main hall, the 2 old men and 3 old men of the southern prison were like ants on a hot pan. Naturally, they had heard about Ningfan killing people by burning his blood. All of the forces that were not weaker than the southern prison country or the Dragon Burial City were easily annihilated by Ningfan. That man was approaching them step by step. However, the reinforcements that the 2 of them had invited had yet to arrive. Damn it. Why haven't the Army Vanquisher Star Lord and the 7 Murders Star Lord arrived yet? Didn't they agree to help us kill Liu Bei? The hands of the 2 old men were trembling. Today was the 7th day since the Dragon City was destroyed. Ningfan was already very close to the province. They probably want us to perish together with Liu Bei. Both of them are the Star Lords of their respective star seas. Why would they care about the life and death of the demon clans from foreign seas like us? To put it nicely, they are here to help us. But to put it bluntly, they are here for the ancestral blood. The 2 of them exchanged glances and saw the fear in each other's eyes. In the worst-case scenario, the 2 of them could only abandon the huge foundation of the southern prison country and flee for their lives. The Star Sea was a vast place. If they hide, would that Liu Bei be able to find them no matter how powerful he is? Anyway, the chaos in the southern prison had already caused countless sea beasts to flee in fear. Now, the name of Liu Bei's devil had reached a terrifying level in this Star Sea. The 2 words Devil Venerable had been given to Liu Bei. Reporting to the king, even the 400,000 demon army of the Zijin country was annihilated. The king of the Zijin country, who was at the half-step Void Refinement realm. Rumor has it that he was eaten alive by Liu Bei. King, please give us an order on how to fight against the Devil Venerable, Liu Bei. A desolate general entered the palace in shock and reported. This information made the 2 old men even more terrified. What? The king of the Zijin country is dead. Doesn't that mean that Liu Bei has already attacked the area within 100,000 li of the province? This is bad. We must run away immediately. How could the two of them still have the leisure to pack up their valuables? They immediately rushed out of the imperial palace and turned into rays of light, fleeing towards the west. However, just as they left the palace, a purple demon shadow appeared in the sky above the sea palace while holding Shi-Ran in his arms. 100,000 li was just a distance that he could cover in an instant. Liu Bei. How did you get here so quickly? This is bad. Quickly activate the defensive grand formation of the province. It was already too late to run away. At this moment, the two of them were in despair. They could only hope that they could delay Ning Fan's footsteps with the grand formation while they waited for the two Star Lords of the Alien Sea to come to their rescue. Even though they were as timid as mice, they were still peak divine transformation realm experts. Even though they were self-harming, they still managed to activate the formation light of the province of the southern prison country in just a few seconds. This formation light was a peak divine transformation realm formation. Moreover, the two elders of the southern prison had poured their magic power and sense power into the formation without holding back. At the moment when the formation light rose, countless sea beasts outside the province cried and knelt on the ground, begging the two elders to activate the formation light and let them into the formation to take refuge. However, the two elders of the southern prison were already having a hard time protecting themselves. How could they activate the formation light and let them in? The army of the Dragon Burial Ground had already expanded to 2 million people and there were 43 divine transformation realm experts among them. Among the 43 people, there were even 3 peak divine transformation realm experts. Most of them were surrendered generals. Under the demon restriction, they did not dare to disobey Ning Fan's orders. Gui Chen and the other 2 peak divine transformation realm experts were attacking the formation light with all their might. The 3 of them were the lords of a region in the Star Sea. However, they were just Ning Fan's slaves now. The 2 elders of the southern prison felt their scalps go numb. Even when the southern prison country was at its strongest, it did not have such a powerful army of sea beasts. Such a powerful force was actually obtained through slaughtering and plundering. We can't leave the city. We can't leave the city even if we die. Once we leave the city, we will die without a burial place if we are attacked by these divine transformation realm experts. The 2 of them began to damage themselves desperately just to increase the defensive power of the grand formation. Inwardly, they could only pray for the 2 Star Lords of the Alien Sea to appear as soon as possible. However, their expectations soon turned into despair. It was because they saw Ning Fan standing on the formation light in the sky above the province. His eyes were filled with impatience. All of you, step back. Gui Chen and the other 2 peak divine transformation realm experts immediately retreated in fear. They did not dare to refute him. However, just as they left the territory of the province, a strong aura force was already forming on Ning Fan's body. Blood ignition. After igniting a drop of half-ancestral blood, I almost have Void Refinement Realm strength now. Void Refinement Realm. So this is the Void Refinement Realm? However, after coming into contact with the power of this realm, I finally know how far away I am from Moksha Sovereign. Moksha Sovereign. In Ning Fan's mind, he recalled the terrifying scene of Moksha Sovereign destroying Ning City all by himself. That finger, the 1,000-mile bone finger, was enough to crush everything. I'll give the 2 of you one last chance. In 3 breaths of time, get out of the southern dungeon and become my slaves. If you do that, you won't die. Ning Fan's words were as cold as ice. His words made the 2 elders of the southern prison struggle, but they were not willing to be slaves. They were lucky enough to escape. Liu Bei, don't be arrogant. When Pejuan and 7 Kills Starlord arrive, you'll definitely die. 3 breaths have passed. Ning Fan no longer said anything. The yin-yang flame burned at the tip of his fingers. All of a sudden, all 5 of his fingers were ablaze. That day, Moksha Sovereign used the white bone flame to condense the fire finger. Today, I will use the 9 types of heavenly frost and earthly fire to condense the fire palm. With a single palm strike, the Black Lotus Corpse fire transformed into a huge flaming palm print that stretched for hundreds of miles. This palm print easily shattered the formation light of the southern prison. The palm print landed on the southern prison province. At this moment, the province, which was 100,000 li, collapsed, the ground cracked and the rivers flowed in reverse. The province of a country was razed to the ground just like that. The two elders of the southern prison who were at the center of the attack were filled with regret the moment the palm print appeared. The profoundness of this palm print was definitely not a divine transformation realm magic technique. It was at least a mortal void realm magic technique. Their screams were drowned by the palm print. In just an instant, the two of them together with the southern prison were forever erased from the history of the greedy wolf star ocean. Destroying the southern prison with a palm. Gui Chen's eyes were filled with fear. Even the strongest expert in the sea region where he lived, the Pejuan Star Lord, might not be able to deliver such a powerful palm strike. One should know that the two Star Lords were true void refinement realm experts. After destroying the southern prison with a single palm strike, Ning Fan did not even look at the ruins of the southern prison. He just raised his head and stared coldly at a certain direction. Then he stepped on the void space. As he stepped on the ground, cracks spread along the footprints, shaking the sea currents. One of the two figures wore a bitter smile while the other one wore a cold expression. Both of them looked slightly disheveled. They were actually sent flying out of the void space by Ning Fan's foot. Pejuan Star Lord, Seven Slaughter Star Lord. The two of you have been spying on this place for a long time. Do you want to become my enemy? One of the burly men who carried a sword on his back coldly harumphed. However, his eyes were filled with fear and he did not dare to attack Ning Fan. As for the other person who wore a scholar's crown, he let out a dry cough with a bitter smile, as if he was reminding the burly man with the sword. Then he cupped his fists at Ning Fan and said, testing him with words. Revered Devil Liu Bei, you really live up to your reputation. I'm afraid that palm strike was imitated from some void fragmentation realm old monster, right? So what if it is? The ancestral blood of the true spirit, the half-step void refinement realm refined corpse of the black dragon of the royal family, the puppet of the northern heaven and a void fragmentation realm background. Your identity is a little mysterious. Whether I'm mysterious or not has nothing to do with you. If you want to become my enemy, feel free to attack me. However, I can't guarantee that the two of you won't die. You must be joking, Your Excellency. The young man with the scholar's crown seemed friendly, but he was actually trying to probe Ning Fan's identity with his words. Moreover, he was secretly forming hand seals in his long sleeves, using some kind of secret technique to sense a trace of void fragmentation realm qi from Ning Fan's body. It's the void fragmentation realm qi that was left recently. This young man really has a void fragmentation realm background. The burly man with the scholar's crown transmitted his voice to the burly man with the sword. What? If that's the case, are we going to kill him? Kill him? For what? 2 drops of ancestral blood have been ignited and burned by him. What's the benefit of killing him? It's not wise to offend a void fragmentation realm expert for no reason. Besides, I have a feeling that if this young man fights to the death, he will have more powerful means. The young man's eyes were solemn. Even with his void refinement realm cultivation base, he could feel a sense of danger from Ning Fan. Of course, he did not know that Ning Fan still had a rogue devil on him. Even if Ning Fan could not completely control the rogue devil now, he would still dare to perish together with the void fragmentation realm expert if he fights to the death. This young man is very dangerous. Have you ever seen an early spirit severing realm expert who could massacre a star sea? This person can be befriended but not offended. The young man with a scholarly hat reminded the burly man. Then he took out a jade slip and imprinted some kind of spirit sense on it. Then he threw it to Ning Fan and cupped his fists. I've offended you by spying on you just now. My name is Pejun. This person is Chisha. Even though his words are fierce, he doesn't have any hostility towards you. This jade slip is the compensation that I've carved for spying on you. I'm sure that it contains the secret information about the greedy wolf Star Lord. It will be helpful to you in your journey to the Heaven Palace. Farewell. The two of them left without staying any longer. After Ning Fan made sure that there was nothing unusual in the jade slip, he scanned it with his spirit sense. His expression changed. The greedy wolf star lord entered the Heaven Palace 5,000 years ago. The destruction of the southern prison had already shocked countless sea beasts. However, the most shocking thing was the appearance of the two star lords from the alien sea. Two Void Refinement Realm experts. They were true Void Refinement Realm experts. However, when facing Ning Fan, he actually showed weakness and befriended him. As a member of the Ghost Head clan in the army-destroying sea area, Gui Chen understood the ruthlessness of that Star Lord Pajun the most. Although he was dressed in a scholarly hat and looked refined, he had eaten tens of millions of sea beasts in order to break through to the Void Refinement Realm. Despite being such a ruthless person, he showed weakness to Ning Fan and befriended him. All of this made Gui Chen feel incredulous. My new master, Ning Fan, is actually such a ruthless person who hides his strength well. How can he make the Void Refinement Realm Star Lord be afraid of him? Ning Fan kept the jade slip and looked at the two Star Lords who were leaving with a thoughtful look. That 7-killing Star Lord has shown off his abilities. There's no need to worry about him. However, that Pajun is a formidable figure. Just now, he used some kind of secret technique that actually made the rogue devil in my body sense. He must have realized that I have a rogue devil in my body. That's why he retreated in fear. Otherwise, he might have killed me. Kuanimo, I wonder what kind of expression you will have when you find out that I'm going to kill you. Will you be afraid? Chapter 309. One after another, forces died in the southern dungeon. The sea beast kingdom that used to be famous for its abundance of sea spirit fruits was reduced to nothingness within a day. The only things that could bear witness to this period of history were the white bones and the horrifying palm print that shattered the Nanlao prefecture. The two great Star Lords appeared in the southern prison, but in the end, they did not stop Ning Fan's massacre in the Star Ocean. Tacit approval. The two great Star Lords had tacitly approved all of Ning Fan's actions. Within Kuanli Palace, a bald man was restless. It was Kuanimo gone, all gone. Big brother Star Dragon and second brother Whale Demon didn't come to help at all. Third brother Yuan Fong also led the Sea Ape army to retreat. Moreover, the forces of the Li Kuan Palace had fallen apart because they were too afraid of Ning Fan's impending arrival. The current Kuan Mo no longer trusted anyone. Anyone could behead him to please Ning Fan. The situation had been reversed. He had given the order to kill Ning Fan twice. Now that the throne had changed, it was Ning Fan's turn to hunt him down. No, I haven't lost yet. As long as I consume the remaining two types of goo, even if I am a true Void Refinement Realm expert, I will definitely be able to. There must be something. A wisp of purple smoke slowly drifted into the Li Kuan Palace without anyone noticing. Perhaps someone had seen the smoke but did not dare to stop it. Ning Fan appeared in the Li Kuan Palace with Shi Ran in his arms. We meet again, Kuanimo. However, it seems that you are not the one chasing after me now. Instead, I am the one chasing after you, Liu Bei. How could you enter Li Kuan Palace so easily? I still have 1,000,000 demon soldiers. I will never let you. Kuan Mo's expression seemed to be panicking, but halfway through his words, his eyes suddenly turned cold. He crushed a red and crystalline goo worm and immediately flapped his Kuan Peng wings to escape 90,000 kilometers away. Blood crystal goo. One of the 3 strongest goo of Demon Kuan. Be careful, once you're poison you'll. She ran hurriedly reminded. However, before she could finish her words, a trace of blood had already flickered in the air at a strange speed and approached Ning Fan. Don't be afraid. There is still one more day before my ancestral blood completely burns out. Withdraw. Ning Fan did not even lift his eyelids in the face of this bloodline. He bent his finger and pointed it at the red line at lightning speed. A trace of void energy formed a black line on his fingertip, binding the bloodline. Immediately, the bloodline trembled in pain and turned back into a red translucent goo insect. The small goo insect's expression was one of fear. The evil cold goo is enough for my immortal will to break through to the peak of the soul formation stage. Now that I have obtained this blood crystal goo and Kun Mo's third goo worm, I wonder if my divine sense can break through to half-step void refinement realm. Do you want to run? Ning Fan hugged Shi Ran tightly. With a sway of his body, he had already reappeared 100,000 li away. After traveling for 9 million li, he suddenly halted his footsteps. Even though he moved later, he was able to catch up to Kun Mo first. He sent out a palm strike. Just as Kun Mo's pitch-black traveling light arrived at that place, Ning Fan's palm struck his body. Kun Mo staggered and almost fell. He retreated dozens of steps before stabilizing himself. However, his expression changed greatly. How can your speed be so fast? Once the blood crystal goo succeeds, you won't be able to escape. Could it be that the blood crystal goo failed? You took the blood crystal goo. This was impossible. Even void refinement realm experts. Before Kun Mo could finish his words, he launched another sneak attack. He bent his finger and shot out a ray of pale yellow light. Then he tried to escape again. This pale yellow light was Kun Mo's third goo, damage brightness goo. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with impatience. He did not want to be entangled with Kun Mo anymore. He sent out a palm strike and a palm imprint made of black flames appeared in the air and struck Kun Mo's chest. Under this palm strike, Kun Mo coughed out several mouthfuls of black blood and fell limply to the ground. His immortal veins were already destroyed and he kept coughing out blood. As for that poisonous insect which was glowing with pale yellow light, Ning Fan flicked his sleeve and easily caught it in his hand. Void refinement realm. You ignited your ancestral blood and your cultivation base rose to the void refinement realm within a short period of time. So you're just borrowing the power of others to wash the sea of stars with blood. Liu Bei, you're just a Kun Mo's words were enough to poke the pride of many people. However, Ning Fan was not moved at all. In his world, there was only victory and defeat. The methods used were not important. Besides, this ancestral blood was also obtained by him after he killed Venerable Dragon Burial and consumed it. How could it not be considered as his own strength? Shi Ran was unconvinced. She hated people like Kun Mo the most who always regarded others' hard work as fortune. Shi Ran had witnessed the chaos of the Sea of Stars from the beginning to the end. She believed that any other old monster who had the same fortune as Ning Fan would not be able to do better than him. At least, Kun Mo could not kill Venerable Dragon Burial and obtain the ancestral blood. At least, even if Kun Mo obtained 2 drops of ancestral blood, he would not be willing to ignite his blood. At the very least, even if Kun Mo ignited his blood, he would not be able to imitate a void fragmentation realm technique and destroy the southern prison with a single palm strike. Even if Kun Mo did all of the above, he would certainly not be able to intimidate the 2 Star Lords. Perhaps he would only end up being killed. It was just like how Old Bear failed to break through the Ghost Xiong Pass after it had existed for so many years. Who else could forcefully break through the pass like Ning Fan? Shi Ran was very unconvinced. She wanted to reason with Kun Mo and convince him that Ning Fan could only reach the stage with his own hard work. Liu Bei, let go of me. I want to quarrel with him. Shi Ran gently broke free from his embrace. At this moment, Kun Mo suddenly got up from the ground and flicked his finger. A dark blue line flashed and approached Shi Ran's chest. He still had the 4th goo. He was going to die, but he was not convinced. He wanted to take revenge on Ning Fan. He wanted to destroy Shi Ran and Ning Fan's woman. This goo is called the Waning Spring goo. Those who are afflicted with it will not live longer than a spring. What? Kun Mo's eyes widened. All of his complacency turned into unwillingness. 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 Just as the goo was about to reach Shi Ran, Ning Fan was already prepared for it. He flicked his sleeve and kept it in his palm. Then, he looked at Kun Mo with a mocking expression. Your sneak attack is really clumsy, damn it. Liu Bei, kill me with your sword if you have the guts. If I kill you, won't I be afflicted with the 5th goo as well? Ning Fan revealed a mocking expression. The purple star in his left eye flashed and he had already seen through the poison inside Kun Mo's body. There was another goo hidden inside Kun Mo's body which was connected to his life. This goo was called the life goo. Once Kuan-mo dies, he would kill all his enemies within 10,000 li. The moment Kuan-mo fled, he already knew that he could not escape from Ning Fan. Therefore, he kept using the second gu and the third gu to sneak attack Ning Fan. In the end, as if he was struggling on his deathbed, he used the fourth gu. Everything he did was to make Ning Fan careless. He wanted to provoke Ning Fan to get close to him and kill him, thereby activating the power of the fifth gu. Kuan-mo had already attached his demon soul to the life gu. Once his physical body dies, the life gu would be activated and he would be able to escape with his demon soul. As for Ning Fan, he would certainly die. His plan was not bad. In Kuan-mo's opinion, anyone who destroys the Star Sea would inevitably become arrogant and complacent. At this moment, it was the easiest for one to be careless and scheme. However, Kuan-mo did not expect that Ning Fan was a quick-witted person. He was always the one who schemed against others. Since when did he ever get schemed against by others? Another palm strike broke all of Kuan-mo's muscles and bones. Then, Ning Fan carried She Ran and moved 10,000 li away with a single step. You can die now. Boom, the palm imprint fell and 100,000 li was flattened. I'm not willing. I'm not willing. Kuan-mo's face was filled with unwillingness. Under the terrifying palm imprint, he could not even escape from his demon soul. He let out a miserable shriek and died in the ruins. At the same place, a pitch-black gu thread immediately spread across 10,000 li, tearing everything apart. Of course, it was the doing of the life gu. She Ran was dumbfounded. So scary. He actually has the fourth and fifth gu. I didn't even know about it. Recalling how she wanted to reason with Kuan-mo when he was already paralyzed, She Ran immediately blushed. Ning Fan could not help but laugh. If She Ran could see through Kuan-mo's scheme even though she was inexperienced, then Kuan-mo's life would be in vain. Next time, remember to never trust your enemies. Then, should I trust you or not? She Ran's face turned red. As soon as she asked this question, she did not know why her cheeks turned red. Throughout the journey of killing, every single time was filled with fear and trepidation. The little girl's feelings for Ning Fan were no longer ordinary even though she did not know what kind of feeling she had for him was. However, at this moment, she was a little reluctant to leave Ning Fan's embrace. However, it seemed like she no longer had a reason to hide in his embrace. During the battle in the southern prison, Ning Fan's devil prestige had frightened all the forces in the Star Ocean. Now that Kuan-mo is dead, perhaps no one would dare to offend him anymore. There should not be any danger anymore. Thus, Ning Fan naturally did not need to protect She Ran every day. You already trust me. Ning Fan sighed with emotion. If it's him, he would certainly not be so kind as to take the initiative to awaken his enemy's medicine soul. After thinking about it carefully, Ning Fan could not help but sigh at the mysteriousness of karma. If he did not save She Ran, she would not have the chance to awaken his medicine soul, and she would not have told him the secret of the star-tempering purple zoysha. When there is a cause, there is bound to be an effect. The two words karma were actually included in the cycle of samsara. Samsara. This kind of power is really terrifying. With Ning Fan's current cultivation base, he could only use the power of samsara to comprehend and display the wind-snow technique. Any further comprehension was not something he could achieve with his current strength. If he could completely master the power of samsara, he would be able to make all the immortals in the entire star region lose their memories and be buried in samsara, just like ringing the samsara bell. Perhaps only by becoming an existence like Purple Dipper can I subdue heaven and earth and live a peaceful life, Ning Fan muttered to himself. She Ran was destined not to understand his words. The life gu and gu worms gradually calmed down. Ning Fan carried She Ran and descended 10,000 li. With a wave of his hand, he kept the life gu and Kuan-mo's storage pouch. In less than a month, Ning Fan had killed 10 million pill beasts, 90,000 nascent soul beasts and 500 wild beasts. The Sea of Stars was already deeply afraid of Ning Fan's terrifying strength. At this moment, even if there was a huge temptation to make the beasts chase after Ning Fan, no one would be blind anymore. Moreover, There were even some forces that tried to please Ning Fan and respected him as the new, greedy wolf Star Lord, alongside the other two Star Lords. Ning Fan was not aware of these things. Even if he knew, he did not care about empty titles. Instead, he cared more about actual benefits. With the 5 types of goo, it was not difficult for his spirit sense to break through to the half-step void refinement realm. 100,000 gold core realm Dao fruits, 900 nascent soul realm Dao fruits, 7 divine transformation realm Dao fruits, and the massive amount of demon power that he had accumulated after devouring countless amounts of demon blood. Ning Fan did not refine this amount of demon power. If he does, he did not know how much his cultivation base would improve. Perhaps, it would be enough for him to break through to the mid-divine transformation realm. 1 million tufts of 1,000 years old spiritual herbs, 70,000 tufts of 10,000 years old spiritual herbs, and 1,200 tufts of 50,000 years old and above spiritual herbs. With so many pills, as long as he improves his pill refinement mastery, he could do a lot of things. The army of the demon army would arrive soon. At that time, Ning Fan would completely subdue the Li Kuan Palace. This was the force that Kuan Mo had been managing for many years. Even if the tree falls, the monkeys will scatter. It was still a big piece of meat. If Ning Fan does not take it, many forces would be more than happy to take it from him. Naturally, the remaining 3 sacred demons would certainly not dare to attack the Star Island anymore. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn as he held a token that was as translucent as jade in his hand. The Goo King's token. This token was Kuan Mo's fortune. It allowed him to climb step by step from a small winged demon to where he was today. This token could easily neutralize Goo poison. Other than that, it seemed to be able to easily cure other poisons as well. Does this mean that if I refine this token into my body, I will be immune to all poisons? Ning Fan's eyes flashed. This was definitely an unexpected gain. Are we going back now? Why don't we stay for a few more days? Shi Ran pleaded with Ning Fan with a soft voice. She was really reluctant to part with Ning Fan on this journey. I'm afraid we still have to stay for a few more days. After I completely subdue the Li Kuan Palace, I still need to deal with these forces that have surrendered. They are star spirits. We can't bring them out of this world. How should we deal with them? It will be troublesome. It would be great if we can bring them away. This is a huge force. Ning Fan suddenly paused halfway through his words as if he had seen something unbelievable. Without saying anything else, he carried Shi Ran and flew away with all his might. In just half a breath's time, a strong tearing force came from the place where he had just escaped. The vast sky of 1 million li was shattered. An endless void storm swept across the place. The level of this void storm was probably enough to tear a void fragmentation realm old monster into pieces. It was definitely not on the same level as the void storm that Wei Xian had destroyed in the past. In the middle of that storm, a beast corpse that was 100,000 zhang in size flew out of the void. As the beast corpse fell from the sky, a lady whose entire body was stained with blood fell from the sky. Her face was completely pale. She had already lost consciousness. What level is this ferocious beast? Ning Fan took a deep breath. Even though this ferocious beast was already dead, its powerful qi was enough to make void fragmentation realm old monsters shudder, let alone Ning Fan. This is a realm beast. Someone actually killed a realm beast. Is it that woman? Shi Ran pursed her lips and revealed a look of disbelief. Should we save her? Looking at the beautiful lady who had fallen into the sea along with the realm beast, Shi Ran's heart was moved. Of course, she had learned her lesson. It was still up to Ning Fan to decide whether to save her or not. You want me to save her? Ning Fan wore a strange expression. Even though he did not know how strong a realm beast was, he was afraid that even ordinary immortals would not be a match for it. A woman who could kill a realm beast must be a true immortal realm expert. Was he supposed to save an expert whose friend or foe was unknown? Once this woman wakes up, would she immediately kill him? Ning Fan would not do such a foolish thing to save someone. Moreover, she was a powerful enemy. If he were to kill her, it would be a waste. Besides, he might even get into great trouble. Capturing this woman and plucking her to keep her as a human cauldron seemed like a good idea. However, he would not even dare to pluck a woman of this level even if she was lying down and offered herself to him. If he plucked a woman of this level, his body would immediately explode. He could neither kill nor keep her alive. This kind of useless woman would only bring him trouble. Let's go. Ning Fan glanced around and shook his head. He did not want to get into trouble. The most rational thing to do was to leave immediately to avoid getting himself into trouble. However, just as he was about to leave, his eyes suddenly turned serious. There was a red jade ring on the tip of the beautiful lady's finger. It was exactly the same as his Yuan Yao jade. Yuan Yao jade. Isn't this jade something that only the 4 ladies of the Lost World Palace have? Why does she have it? Could she be Bei Xiaoman's elder sister? Ning Fan hesitated. If it's a stranger, he could just leave. However, it's Bei Xiaoman. Besides, he had quite a good impression of the 3rd lady of the Lost World Palace, Bailey. That lady had helped him a lot in passing the 3 mortal severance steps. In the future, I'm destined to ascend to the Northern Heaven and I will certainly have dealings with the Lost World Palace. If I save this lady, it might be of great help to me after I ascend. Just save her. Why are you hesitating? This lady has one of the 7 spirit bodies. It will be very beneficial for you to improve your yin-yang transformation's last 7 heavens cultivation technique. A faint voice came from the yin-yang locket. It was Luo Yu. Her words were teasing and not serious. However, after teasing him, she immediately became serious. Her tone was cold and her usual lazy and unruly manner was completely different. I know this lady. Even though we had some unpleasantness in the past, if it wasn't for her help, I would have been killed by someone in the Lost World Palace. Consider it as the first favor you've done for me. Save her. Alright. Ning Fan no longer hesitated. He returned to the void storm in a ray of traveling light. He patted his storage pouch and took out the Eastern Ocean Bell. With the Eastern Ocean Bell on top of his head, he caught the beautiful lady who had fallen and fainted. Hugging a young lady on your left and a beautiful lady on your right. You're really lucky with women. Seeing that Ning Fan had saved the beautiful lady, Luo Yu heaved a sigh of relief and began to tease him again. Lucky with women? Ning Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry. Ning Fan had always believed that there were some women in this world that he should never touch. This beautiful lady must be one of them. However, for the sake of Bei Xiaoman, Bailey and Luo Yu, he really could not stand by and watch her die. The first 2 of them were just acquaintances while the last one was the person who had saved Ning Fan several times when he was in trouble. Ning Fan had to give her face. Even if he gets into trouble after saving this lady, he would certainly not die with Luo Yu around. Trouble might be a fortuitous encounter. Chapter 310. In the Li Kuan Palace, Ning Fan gave the order and immediately went into seclusion. From today onwards, Qing Xian will be in charge of Dragon Burial City, Gui Chen will be in charge of Li Kuan Palace, Chao Kong will be in charge of Gui Xiong Pass, and Zhong Mu will be in charge of Nanlao Kingdom. Follow my orders and erect a statue of me in your respective passes. Worship me day and night. Disperse. This order made the surrendered generals look at each other in dismay. Everyone had been planted with demonic seals, and their lives were no longer in their control. They had thought that after being used, it would be difficult for them to escape death. However, from the looks of it now, not only would their masters not die, they would even be appointed as the leaders of the various great powers. The Honorable Lord actually didn't kill us. We are really, really lucky. But why did the High Lord specifically instruct us to build a temple to worship him? Even if we want to erect a statue, we should erect a statue of the Honorable Lord. Why do we have to erect a statue of this unfamiliar young man? Why do we care about all this? My Lord has taken over the South Sea and is already invincible. We just need to follow his orders. Don't offend him. Of course, none of them knew that Luo Yu was the one who suggested the erection of the temple statue. The star spirits could not be brought out of the Star Palace's territory. If Ning Fan takes away the star of the Celestial Emperor, no one knew what would happen to the Star Palace. In short, this group of forces could not be taken away, and it was even more impossible for them to be used as fighters in the outside world. Therefore, Luo Yu's suggestion was to let the people of the Star Palace worship Ning Fan's statue. That way, even if they could not control the Star Palace in the end, there would still be a golden statue of Ning Fan that the sea beasts would worship as long as the palace was not destroyed. As for Ning Fan, he could use his natal golden man to collect the Joss flame power. There were 3 types of immortals: celestial immortal, demonic immortal, and demonic immortal. The 3 clans each had their own cultivation system, and the cultivation of Shinto required devouring the power of incense, refining it into magical energy, or tempering the body. Apart from this, incense also had many other wonderful uses. Incense could be used to refine pills or as a trump card to kill enemies. Outside the secret chamber, Ning Fan waved his palm and took out a golden man. Its appearance was exactly the same as the real Ning Fan. In the future, all the people who erected Ning Fan's golden statue and worshipped him would turn their faith into the power of incense and gather on the golden statue. I still feel that it's a waste not to bring this batch of star spirits out of the Star Palace. There's nothing we can do about it. Who asked this Star Palace to be condensed by the Heavenly Emperor? If you obtain the star of the Heavenly Emperor, you might be able to condense your own Star Palace. However, that Star Palace is destined to be unable to connect with this place, and it is also unable to support the survival of the star spirits here, Luo Yu replied lazily. Ever since she had saved the beautiful woman, this woman seemed to have become very interested and was no longer sleeping. There are many sea beasts here. With you around, even if you leave, no one in the Southern Star Sea would dare to touch you. There were probably more than 100 million sea beasts in the Southern Star Sea, and most of them were pellet beast experts. With 100 million gold core and above worshipping you, your speed of collecting incense is even faster than ordinary life immortals. Is that so? Forget it. Although this group of forces is strong, they had to submit to my devil prowess. I can leave them outside, but I don't feel at ease bringing them along with me. Fortunately, I have collected more than 300 desolate beasts' demon souls. With the puppet raising technique, I can upgrade my divine transformation realm puppets. Once I completely refine the goo poison and demon blood, my strength will rise to another level. Ning Fan did not say anything else. He kept the golden statue and the origin jade. Hei Ting, the stone warrior and the refined corpses were also kept into his storage pouch. It was time to return to the Star Island. However, before I leave, I still have some troublesome matters to deal with. After putting away his expression, Ning Fan pushed open the stone door of the secret chamber and took a step inside. Immediately, the sound of water flowing could be heard from within the secret chamber. He saw she ran rolling up her sleeves. She was wiping the body of an unconscious beautiful woman with her bare arms. After all, she was the princess of the Profound Medicine clan. She Rance Dao of medicine and pill refinement mastery were extremely brilliant. With the help of the medicine, the bleeding of the woman's heavy injuries had stopped a little. At this moment, Shi Ran was wiping the body of the beautiful woman. The woman's clothes were half undone and she was unconscious on the bed. After wiping the blood stains off her body, she looked like an exquisitely carved white jade beauty. Her plump breasts were fair and supple. As Shi Ran wiped them with the towel, they even trembled slightly. She had smooth skin and a flat abdomen. Under the cover of her skirt, a dense forest could be vaguely seen under her abdomen. Her legs were slender and long, making one's imagination run wild. However, as soon as Ning Fan entered, Shi Ran immediately cried out in surprise. She stopped wiping the woman and lifted the thin blanket at the side to cover the beautiful woman's body. Liu Bei, can't you have some self-awareness? You are a man. A man. You know that I am wiping the sister's body, but you still barged in. Do you know that if you see her naked body, she will be like me? She won't be able to get married. Oh? You won't be able to get married? I thought you would want to marry me. Who wants to marry you? I don't. Besides, even my father didn't agree to it. Shi Ran's tone was a little messy. Is that so? In other words, If your father agrees to marry me, you will be very willing to marry me? I. Shi-ran couldn't utter a single word of objection. However, she did not dare to nod her head. She was such a well-behaved girl. When she gets married, she must follow the orders of her parents and relatives. Seeing Shi-ran's embarrassment, Ning Fan stopped teasing her and shifted his gaze to the beautiful woman. Even if they were separated by a thin blanket, Ning Fan's Fu-Li demon eyes were extremely powerful. Whether you are wearing clothes or not, whether you are covered with a blanket or not, Ning Fan could see through everything with just a single glance. The woman fell into the South Sea with a realm beast. The demon core of that realm beast was kept by Ning Fan. The demon blood was kept by Ning Fan. As for the corpse, he hid it in the Yuan Yao world. The scales, bones, and horns of this 100,000 zhang tall gigantic beast were the best materials for refining weapons. According to Luo Yu and Shi-ran, the realm beast was a unique demon beast in the void of the four heavens. It lurked in the void and rarely attacked experts at the 7th level of the cultivation realm. Instead, it loved to attack immortals and devour their blood to refine its body. Since it could devour immortals alive, there was no doubt that the realm beast was strong. The reason why immortals did not dare to descend to the lower worlds was not only because of the realm law but also because of the realm beast. Being able to kill a realm beast, this beautiful woman was undoubtedly a peerless expert. She was not weak even among the true immortals. Even though she was an expert, the realm beast's attack was not weak. Her injuries were definitely not ordinary. However, Shi-ran managed to stabilize her injuries in just a day. It was enough to show how powerful her Tao of healing was. However, even though her injuries were stabilized, there were 2 seals in her body that completely sealed her cultivation base. One of them seemed to be set up by her. Most likely, it was to seal her cultivation base to the void fragmentation realm to avoid the realm beast's attack. However, she was still attacked by the realm beast even after her cultivation base was sealed. If she was not plotted against by someone, she would be extremely unlucky. The other seal was planted by the realm beast's magic technique. This seal directly restricted her cultivation base to the nascent soul realm, forcefully suppressing her cultivation base by 3 great cultivation realms. It was enough to show how terrifying the realm beast's seal was. What was more troublesome was that the realm beast's seal also hid a trace of extremely secretive poison. This poison should not belong to the realm beast. Instead, it was specially refined and planted on the realm beast's body by a cultivator. This trace of poison made Ning Fan speculate that the possibility of someone plotting against her after she was attacked by the realm beast was higher. However, the person who plotted against her must be a peerless true immortal. Ning Fan was not willing to provoke such a person for the time being. He was also not in the mood to find out why the beautiful woman was plotted against. He only promised Luo Yu that he would save her. As for other matters, he did not want to ask about them. Of course, he still wanted to help her to the end. Hence, he still had to help her get rid of the poison. Why aren't you going out yet? I still need to continue wiping this elder sister's body. Shi-ran wrung the towel and urged him. If I go out, she will die. There is still a trace of remnant poison in her body which is hidden very deeply. Ning Fan walked to the front of the bed and lifted the thin blanket as if he had made up his mind. Immediately, the flawless snow-white body of the beautiful woman reappeared in front of him. This pervert. I've already diagnosed her. She is not poisoned. You're lying. You just want to peep at her. Shi-ran immediately covered her eyes. Her small face had already turned red. She had forgotten that the one who should cover her eyes was Ning Fan, not her. Can you see how many seals she has been afflicted with? Ning Fan placed his palm on the beautiful woman's lower abdomen. The cold and tender feeling made his mind flutter. However, his mind immediately turned solemn. Is it the seal of the realm beast? It's 2. She even sealed one on herself. Ordinary people can't see that seal. The purple star in Ning Fan's left eye shone brightly. The Fu-Li eye could see through all illusions. Naturally, he could see through the double seals on the beautiful woman's body. It was not strange that Shi-ran could not see it. The magic power flowed from his palm into the beautiful woman's lower abdomen. This process lasted for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, dense and mysterious patterns suddenly appeared on the fair and flawless body of the beautiful woman. On her forehead, a silver formation pattern appeared. It was the seal that the beautiful woman had set up herself. On her delicate body and under her half-exposed clothes, there were terrifying blood-red formation patterns everywhere. As the formation patterns appeared, they gave off a foul stench. These formation patterns were planted by the realm beast. There are actually 2 layers of seals. Moreover, the rotten stench in the realm beast seal is the immortal decaying poison. Shi-Ran was so shocked that she could not close her small mouth. As it turned out, Ning Fan was right to lift the blanket and stare at the beautiful woman. This beautiful woman was really poisoned. However, Shi-Ran could not imagine why such a terrifying immortal decaying poison would appear on the beautiful woman's body. A single drop of the immortal decaying poison is even more precious than the Tao fruit of the last immortal. It can kill ordinary immortals. If it wasn't for this woman's extremely powerful cultivation base, she would have died the moment she was poisoned. The person who could raise a realm beast and use the immortal decaying poison to harm others must have a powerful background. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. He could vaguely feel that he had gotten himself into another trouble the moment he saved this woman. However, if he had to start all over again, he would still choose to save this woman because it was related to Luo Yu's request. How is it? Can you cure her of the poison? In the yin-yang locket, Luo Yu's tone was a little nervous. Don't worry. Ning Fan did not say much. He sat on the bed and carried the beautiful woman up, placing her on his knees. Then he patted his storage pouch and took out a token that was sparkling and translucent like jade. The Poison King's token. This token had a miraculous effect in detoxifying poison. However, Ning Fan was not confident that it could completely cure the beautiful woman. With a point of his finger, the Gu King token turned into a small jade that was around an inch long. He parted the beautiful woman's lips and placed the jade on the tip of her tongue. When his finger touched the smooth and cold tip of her tongue, Ning Fan's mind was shaken again. Even though he managed to calm himself down after a short while, he was still a little surprised this time. This woman's cultivation method was undoubtedly the profound sex righteous Tao. However, her physique seemed to be filled with a strange charm. Even though Ning Fan had cultivated his yin-yang transformation to the 2nd level, he could barely resist her charm. Is this the 7-spirit body that Luo Yu mentioned? What exactly is the 7-spirit body? As soon as the Gu King token was placed in her mouth, the beautiful woman's complexion immediately turned better. The blood-red poisonous thread near her neck began to spread downwards. However, when it reached the top of her breasts, it stopped flowing. Ning Fan's eyes turned grim. The Gu King token was not weak. However, it was still not enough to eliminate all the poison just by placing it in the beautiful woman's mouth. Unfortunately, the beautiful woman was currently unconscious and could not control the power of the token to eliminate the poison in her body. What should I do? It seems like the poison has only been pushed below her chest. It hasn't been completely eliminated yet. Seeing that a peerless beauty was about to be killed by the corrosive poison, Shi-Ran could not help but pity the beautiful woman a little. Force the token to her entire body. Ning Fan placed his finger on the beautiful woman's lips and channeled his magic power into it. The token turned into an ice-cold light thread and spread throughout the beautiful woman's body. His fingertip moved down from the beautiful woman's lips and slid across her soft neck, collarbone, and the softness of her chest. The ice-cold light thread filled her entire body. The painful expression on the beautiful woman's face immediately melted. Under the pursuit of the light thread, the poison slowly disintegrated. Ning Fan's fingertip had almost touched the entire upper body of the beautiful woman. Ning Fan's breathing began to become messy. The charm of this woman's physique was too terrifying. It almost made him lose his mind. Once he loses his mind and has intercourse with this woman, there would only be one ending for him. His body would explode and he would die. As the poison disintegrated, the blood threads on the beautiful woman's body began to gather towards her lower abdomen. Gritting his teeth, Ning Fan placed both of his hands on the beautiful woman's ankles and pressed them towards her calves. Ning Fan lifted her palace dress and his hands went into her dress. Then he inwardly swore that he had offended her. His fingertip penetrated the beautiful woman's tender body and forcefully injected his finger force into it. Under the pressure of his last finger, all the poison was concentrated on the beautiful woman's lower abdomen, forming a palm-sized seal formation mark. The seal was still there, but the poison had completely disappeared. However, as Ning Fan's last finger moved, something even more troublesome happened. When the poison on the beautiful woman's body was completely disintegrated, Ning Fan's finger force touched her entire body. Eventually, when his finger touched her soft lips, she let out a moan and woke up with a blurry look in her eyes. However, as the beautiful woman woke up, a strong seductive force assaulted Ning Fan and she ran. The purple mist rolled and pulled Ning Fan and she ran into the phoenix tent. Ah! She cried out in surprise. When she was engulfed by the purple mist, her eyes immediately became blurry. She already had a good impression of Ning Fan. At this moment, she felt numb and itchy all over her body. It was as if only by embracing Ning Fan's embrace could she feel more comfortable. As for the beautiful woman, her eyes became blurry and her consciousness was already in a mess. Even though her cultivation base was sealed, her seductive force was at the standard of a shedding void realm true immortal. The beautiful woman whose clothes were half undone had sweat on her temples and her phoenix hairpin was messy. When she saw Ning Fan, she found it hard to control her emotions and thought that it was just a wet dream. Ever since my husband died in battle and Man Heir was born, it has been 1,000 years since I had a wet dream. A wet dream? Why is this dream so real? I can actually see his face clearly. I'm really a shameless woman. I actually dreamed of a divine transformation realm young man. If it's just a dream, the beautiful woman's willpower began to weaken. If it was an ordinary wet dream, she could use her magic power to destroy it. However, the dream this time was so real. She tried to unravel the dream, but she could not break free from it. I can't break free, huh? Is this going to be my first time letting loose in a dream? The beautiful woman felt that there was a strange power in Ning Fan's body that was calling out to her. Her lower body was already wet. She untied her robes and eventually, she completely lost her willpower and fell into Ning Fan's embrace. If it's just a dream, even I am qualified to love someone. The beautiful lady moved her lips closer to Ning Fan's face and cupped his face in her hands. My name is Yuan Yao. Lang Jun, what's your name? Lu Bei. Ning Fan tried his best to restrain himself. This purple mist was too powerful. It made his yin-yang locket show signs of losing control. However, when the beautiful woman's tender lips approached him, he could no longer restrain himself. It just so happened that at this moment, Shi Ran, who was in a trance, pressed her not-so-plump chest against Ning Fan's back and rubbed it against his back. Her slender arms wrapped around Ning Fan's neck and her smooth tongue blew a delicate fragrance into Ning Fan's ears. Lu Bei, I feel terrible. What should I do? Ning Fan could no longer endure it. This purple mist was too domineering. If he does not have intercourse with it, not to mention the two ladies, even he himself would die. It was fine for him to dual cultivate with Shi Ran, but he must never pluck this beautiful woman. Just a drop of her primordial yin was enough to make his body explode. Silly brother, there's still the rear court. Luo Yu teased. The beautiful woman's life was no longer in danger, so Luo Yu was relieved. However, when she saw that the beautiful woman was about to be occupied by Ning Fan, she felt that it was very interesting and cunning. She is a famous flower. Moreover, she is a famous flower whose owner is already dead. Silly brother, after you occupy her body, almost no one in the 4 heavens and 9 worlds will dare to provoke you. Luo Yu's smile became even more cunning. She really wanted to see how awkward it would be for Ning Fan to face both Bei Xiaoman and the beautiful woman at the same time. Silly brother, I'm afraid you are going to defy the heavens this time. This Yuan Yao is Bei Xiaoman's mother. It was impossible for Luo Yu to tell Ning Fan about this. She liked to watch complicated soap operas. She was very bored. Chapter 311. Inside the secret room, it was filled with endless moans and moans for the entire night. Ning Fan sat in front of the bed. His head still hurt a little. Looking at the two women who were entangled with each other on the bed, his expression was complicated. This time, he still retained half of his rationality. He did not let Shi-Ran, who had lost her virginity, suffer too much. Instead, he let this little girl reach her climax several times. The bloodstains on the bed were the price Shi-Ran had to pay for her pleasure. This little girl will never be able to get married this time. As for that beautiful woman, Ning Fan did not do anything to her. Instead, he just let her penetrate the bottom of the bed. Looking at the woman's swollen buttocks with traces of blood, Ning Fan rubbed his forehead. I'm afraid I've gotten myself into a huge trouble. This woman was not a virgin, but since he had taken her bottom, her chastity was also lost in his hands. Lost World Palace. If this woman is Bei Li and Bei Xiaoman's elder sister, she must be either the eldest or the second eldest. I wonder if this woman is already married. Judging from the fact that she is no longer a virgin, could it be that she is a fickle woman? Ning Fan had misunderstood Yuan Yao. How is she an unchaste woman? If she gave birth to 4 daughters and is still a virgin, that would be strange, all right? At this moment, Ning Fan still did not realize how ridiculous and serious the incident that happened tonight was. However, inside the yin-yang locket, Luo Yu was already choking on her laughter. Silly little brother, you've gotten yourself into trouble. Do you know who she is? Who is she? Do you want to know? If you want to know, then use the mind-reading technique on me. Luo Yu was smiling like a pear blossom in the rain. She just had to keep him in suspense. The difference between their cultivation bases was too big. Ning Fan could not use the mind-reading technique on her at all. Coincidentally, Shi-Ran woke up at this moment. She rubbed her drowsy head. Her eyes were still filled with painful and joyful tears. She yawned lazily and got up from the bed. However, she immediately felt a tearing pain in her lower body. After the pain, the little girl was dumbfounded. Why am I naked? Why is my butt so painful and bleeding? What did I do? What did I do with Liu Bei yesterday? I can't remember. It's so confusing. I only remember that I was poisoned by the purple mist. I was so bold. I hugged Liu Bei and kissed him here and there and I can't get married. She pulled the thin blanket to cover her swollen red breasts and looked at Ning Fan angrily. Every word of hers was filled with resentment. I won't marry off. Who asked you to bite me yourself? Look, there are bite marks all over my hands and neck. Don't say anything, don't say anything. You took advantage of me, and now you're accusing me. Shi-Ran's little face flushed red. She couldn't wait to find a hole to hide in. Even though she didn't want to admit defeat, she still vaguely remembered that not only were these teeth marks left by her, but also many other places on Ning Fan's body. In the end, he seemed to have eaten something hot with his mouth. If father knew, he would definitely scold me to death. She was worried about something that wasn't worth worrying about. Silly girl, Ning Fan shook his head helplessly. Stupidity was innate. No medicine could cure it. Holding Shi-Ran's palm, he channeled in strands of magic power and harmonized Shi-Ran's blood and qi. In an instant he was shocked. Be it magic power, demon power, or devil qi, the speed of their circulation had doubled compared to before. Her cultivation base did not improve, but her immortal veins had become wider and tougher. My cultivation method has improved. Ning Fan's expression changed. His eyes were filled with astonishment when he looked at his dantian. He couldn't help but be shocked. After just one night of pleasure, his yin-yang transformation had advanced to the peak of the 9th level of the 2nd level. Just one more step and he would be able to enter the 3rd level. Then, he would be able to open the profound yin world and release Luo Yu. You noticed? Your yin-yang transformation is about to reach the minor accomplishment realm. The effect of this beauty's rear isn't bad, right? Luo Yu said with envy. Minor Accomplishment Realm. There were 10 levels of yin-yang transformation. The first 3 levels were only considered minor accomplishment realm. The grade of this cultivation method was too high. Therefore, it was extremely difficult to improve it. In the past, Ning Fan spent a lot of effort to break through the first and second level of the cultivation method. Today, just because he had sex with that beautiful woman in her rear, his cultivation method was about to break through the third level. What is this woman's cultivation base exactly? She actually has such a strong primordial yin qi. Besides, I have a feeling that the improvement of the cultivation method this time isn't just the grade but also the essence of the cultivation method. Of course. Didn't I tell you? She has the 7 spirits body. This time, your intimate contact with her allowed this fire steel to complete the first spirit. Luo Yu muttered to herself. In short, she was very happy. However, when Ning Fan saw the improvement of his cultivation method, he obviously should be happy but he could not. He had violated the rear of such a powerful woman. How could he have a good ending? This beautiful woman was not Shiran. She was not someone who could be dismissed with just a few words. Just as he was deep in thought, a cold gaze landed on Ning Fan's back. It was like a sharp sword that pierced him, making him feel cold all over. At the same time, an embarrassed, angry, and miserable voice resounded coldly in the secret chamber. Give me an explanation within 3 sentences. Otherwise die. Boom! At this moment, a terrifying killing intent spread across 100,000 li of the Kuan Palace. Within 100,000 miles, all the sea beasts that were immersed in this murderous aura were terrified. Gui Chen and the other divine transformation realm experts were still cleaning up the aftermath of Ning Fan's massacre in the Sea of Stars. At this moment, when they sensed the terrifying killing intent in the hall, all of them suddenly stood up and looked at the direction of the secret chamber in the Kuan Palace. Revered Lord's killing intent is so strong. This is definitely not something a divine transformation realm expert should possess. It is also not something a void refinement realm star lord should possess. Revered Lord is indeed extraordinary. He actually has such a terrifying killing intent. Gui Chen and the other divine transformation realm experts became even more respectful to Ning Fan. A few of them who were scheming against Ning Fan also gave up on the idea of betraying him. In front of this killing intent, even a void fragmentation realm old monster was insignificant and lowly. Shiran still did not feel anything. She just covered her chest and looked at the beautiful woman pitifully. She thought to herself, no wonder this elder sister is so angry. After all, she was humiliated by Liu Bei and can't get married anymore. Only Ning Fan knew that this beautiful woman was not joking at all. She needed an explanation. An explanation that would allow her to spare Ning Fan's life. 3 sentences. She only gave Ning Fan 3 sentences. When I woke up, I found out that my rear was violated. What is going on? Yuan Yao wanted to cry, but she had no tears. She originally thought that everything was just a wet dream. However, she did not expect that she would lose her virginity when she fell in love for the first time in her wet dream. If it wasn't for the memories of this wet dream and knowing how active she was in her wet dream, Yuan Yao would definitely want to slap Ning Fan to death. 3 sentences. Give me a reasonable explanation. She was crying, but she stubbornly held back her tears. You were being chased by a realm beast and I saved you. The first sentence. The anger in Yuan Yao's eyes subsided slightly. She did remember that she had spent a lot of effort to break that strange maze formation and kill a realm beast. After that, she seemed to have fallen into the void storm with severe injuries. At that time, she did seem to have been saved by someone. So it was Ning Fan who saved me. This person saved me and I am grateful to him. However, this is not a reason for him to take the opportunity to violate me. You were poisoned by the decaying immortal poison. I helped you detoxify it. The second sentence. Yuan Yao's cold expression changed. The decaying immortal poison. It can't be wrong. Ning Fan is not lying. When Yuan Yao circulated her magic power, she immediately felt that there was still a trace of residual poison in her body. It was indeed the decaying immortal poison. This kind of poison does not belong to the realm beast. If that is the case, it is strange that I was attacked by the realm beast when I sneaked into the lower realm. Why would there be the decaying immortal poison when the realm beast attacked me? Could it be that this realm beast was used by someone to ambush me? Yuan Yao's heart softened a little. When I was trapped in the void storm, it was Ning Fan who saved me. When I was poisoned by the decaying immortal poison, it was Ning Fan who saved me. He had saved me twice. Even if he took my virginity, it could only be considered as canceling out the grudges between us. The third sentence is that you used the purple mist to bewitch me and seduce me to have sex with you. Ning Fan told her the truth. However, this truth made Yuan Yao feel like dying. Don't talk nonsense. Big brother Liu Bei is not lying. It was you. It's all your fault. If you didn't use the purple mist to bewitch me, I wouldn't have done such things with big brother Liu Bei. Without hesitation, she pulled up the thin blanket and covered her chest. She stood under the bed and stood on Ning Fan's side. Even if it's true, I just thought that it was a dream. Yuan Yao's killing intent was completely extinguished. She closed her eyes in pain. I have been cautious all my life. I never thought that I would do such an inhumane thing after giving birth to 4 daughters. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't. The spring dream was gone, but the reality was too hurtful. That's right. I used the purple mist to bewitch this young man and woman. Not only did I lose my virginity, I even implicated she ran and made her lose her virginity. Yuan Yao's purple lust spiritual body made her very clear about how powerful her bewitching technique was. Ning Fan was bewitched by her bewitching technique and humiliated her. She could not blame him for acting rashly. He just saved her twice out of kindness. I am the sinner. What reason do I have to blame Ning Fan? Clear tears fell from Yuan Yao's eyes. Her expression was bitter and it made Shi Ran's heart soften. Alright, I won't blame you anymore, but I blame myself. It's too absurd. Yuan Yao was indeed a heroine. Even though her heart was filled with pain, she quickly calmed down. She looked at Ning Fan. Her voice was very pleasing to the ears. It also contained a mature and noble temperament. I am very satisfied with your explanation. Don't worry. As long as you keep your mouth shut and don't tell anyone about what happened last night, I will not harm you. You are Liu Bei, right? You have saved me twice. I should at least give you some benefits as a reward. Only then did Yuan Yao notice that her clothes were tattered and her storage pouch was nowhere to be found. It seemed like it was blasted into the void by the realm beast. Immediately, she revealed a look of shame. With her status, she actually could not repay a divine transformation realm junior for saving her life. If word got out, she, Yuan Yao, would no longer have a foothold in the northern heaven. I'm sorry. I lost my storage pouch. I will teach you a secret technique. As long as you cultivate diligently for 1,000 years, I guarantee that you will be invincible below the void fragmentation realm. Yuan Yao's eyes were filled with stubbornness. She waved her hand and a blank jade slip on the table far away flew into her hand. She imprinted something on it with her spirit sense and threw it to Ning Fan. What she did last night was too shameful. Today, in order to repay Ning Fan for saving her life, she could not lose her manners and make a fool out of herself again. After receiving the jade slip, Ning Fan scanned it with his spirit sense. It was actually the complete version of the puppet ascension technique. Not only did it introduce the secret technique for the advancement of puppets, it also included various insights on refining puppets and formations for joint attacks of puppets. Now, we don't owe each other anything. Yuan Yao covered her plump chest with one hand. The purple grapes were faintly discernible. She forced herself to get off the bed. The pain from the tearing of her buttocks immediately made her lose her balance and fall forward. Her beautiful face was filled with shock. Only now did she notice that her current magic power was actually sealed by the realm beast and she was only left with the mid-nascent soul realm. Her injuries were just stabilized. As her mind was in a mess, they actually showed signs of relapsing again. I'm sorry for being rude. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with a hint of approval. He patted his storage pouch and took out a robe of his. Then, he put it on her and supported her. This woman had a clear distinction between gratitude and grudges. She behaved in a decent manner. Even though she had lost her virginity to a junior, she did not act like an ordinary woman who would shout and kill as soon as they met. Moreover, she did not kill him to silence him, even though she might not necessarily be able to kill Ning Fan at this moment. When Ning Fan held her wrist, Yuan Yao's body trembled as if she was numb. With her status, there was actually a day where she would fall. With her status, there was actually a day where she would fall into the arms of a strange young man. Thank you. Her expression was no longer as painful as before. Instead, it was filled with complicated emotions. As for Ning Fan, he tried to activate the yin-yang locket and used the mind-reading technique to pry into her thoughts. However, it was to no avail and he could only give up. This woman's true cultivation base is just too high. I don't know who you are or what your identity is. What happened last night was ridiculous. I won't tell anyone about it. You don't have to be embarrassed. Any other woman would have done the same thing in that situation. It doesn't mean that you have a bad character. I don't know why you came to the Star Palace. However, with your current nascent soul realm cultivation base and your injuries, you will immediately be besieged by sea beasts as soon as you walk out of the Likuan Palace. If you don't mind, you can temporarily travel with me until your cultivation base is strong enough to protect yourself. Yuan Yao was a little silent. She gently broke free from Ning Fan's grasp and barely managed to stand still. Looking at Ning Fan's sincere eyes, her expression became even more complicated. She knew that what Ning Fan said was reasonable. Currently, her cultivation base was low and her injuries were serious. If it wasn't for Ning Fan's protection, she was afraid that she would die in the mouth of a wild beast. She had never thought that a dignified true immortal realm-shedding void realm expert like her would need Ning Fan's protection one day. Thank you. Before my injuries are fully healed and some seals are broken, I will shamelessly stay by your side. Bei Yao. Bei Yao? Ning Fan gently nodded. This woman's surname is indeed Bei. It seems like she is indeed one of Bei Xiaoman's elder sisters. My name is Liu Bei. Liu Bei, huh? Yuan Yao's expression became even more complicated. In the spring dream, she had already asked for Ning Fan's name once. Really, a sin? Chapter 312. Because of the absurd night, Ning Fan had no choice but to stay in the Likuan Palace for a few more days. While giving Shi Ran and Yuan Yao time to recover, he took the opportunity to use the 300 wild beast demon souls to upgrade the grade of his puppets. The evil cold goo had already been refined by the demon blood, allowing his spirit sense to break through to the peak divine transformation realm. As for the other 4 goo, he had yet to refine them. The demon blood in his body was also accumulating and he did not have the time to refine them. Once he refines them, he would certainly need to go into seclusion for a long time. Now that he was in a hurry to return to the Star Island, he naturally would not refine them for the time being. He had already obtained the secret technique of puppet raising from Stone Warrior. This time, the secret technique that Yuan Yao gave him was the most complete inheritance of puppet techniques in the Lost World Palace. Naturally, it was not something that Stone Warrior could compare to. Just like what Yuan Yao had said, this puppet ascension technique was very powerful. As long as Ning Fan travels across the 9 worlds and painstakingly cultivates for 1,000 years using countless spiritual materials to refine his puppets, he would be invincible below the void fragmentation realm with the help of his puppet army. Unfortunately, 1,000 years is too long. Forget it. Let's upgrade the grade of the puppets for now. Ning Fan would not take out forbidden items like Stone Warrior and Yuan Yao Jade to avoid unnecessary trouble. There were only 10 black puppets that needed to be upgraded. 5 of them were at the early stage, 4 were at the mid stage and 1 was at the late stage. 4 of them were damaged. However, puppets had an advantage. As long as you have enough materials, you could easily repair them no matter how badly they were injured. In just half a day, he had repaired 4 puppets. Among the 300 demon souls, there were 207 early divine transformation realm, 55 mid-divine transformation realm, 41 late divine transformation realm, 15 Peak Divine Transformation Realm and 9 Half-Step Void Refinement Realm Demon Souls. Early Divine Transformation Realm Demon Souls were not very useful. Only mid-Divine Transformation Realm Demon Souls could upgrade an early Divine Transformation Realm Puppet. After consuming 50 mid-Divine Transformation Realm Demon Souls, all 5 early Divine Transformation Realm Puppets were upgraded to mid-Divine Transformation Realm. After consuming 40 late Divine Transformation Realm Demon Souls, 4 mid-Divine Transformation Realm Puppets were upgraded to late Divine Transformation Realm. 10 Peak Divine Transformation Realm Demon Souls were upgraded to Peak Divine Transformation Realm. However, 9 Half-Step Void Refinement Realm Demon Souls were not enough to upgrade the Black Puppet's cultivation base. Gritting his teeth, he channeled all the remaining demon souls into the peak-grade Black Lotus. In the end, the Black Puppet's cultivation base was forcefully raised to the Half-Step Void Refinement Realm. In terms of aura force alone, it was even slightly stronger than the Black Dragon and was on par with the Dong Su realm. 5 mid-Divine Transformation Realm Puppets, 4 late Divine Transformation Realm Puppets and 1 half-step to upgrade. As such, in terms of half-step Void Refinement Realm experts, Ning Fan already had He Long and He Teng. This round of killing was indeed not in vain. Moreover, the puppet ascension art that Yuan Yao had given him recorded some kind of puppet joint attack art, the ghost soldier possession art. This technique used the sacrifice of a puppet to increase a puppet's strength. The puppet that was sacrificed would suffer irreparable damage. If he sacrifices the other 9 spiritual puppets, Ning Fan was confident that he could raise He Teng's strength to the early Void Refinement Realm within a short period of time. This was a trump card that could allow him to dominate the universe. Even if he were to return to the Endless Sea in the future and become enemies with the 7 venerated beings of the Internal Sea, Ning Fan would still be able to ensure that he was invincible. Of course, there were only 7 half-step Void Refinement Realm experts in the Internal Endless Sea on the surface. Ning Fan had no idea if there were any Void Refinement Realm experts in the dark. The Endless Sea was a domain of its own. It was not restricted by the realm law of the Rain Palace. Ning Fan would not believe that the Endless Sea did not have a force that could make the Rain Palace fearful. At the very least, 7 half-step Void Refinement Realm venerated beings were not enough to make the Rain Palace feel fearful. I can never underestimate my enemies. Even if I am strong enough to conquer the entire Inner Sea, I still have to be cautious. After keeping all of his spiritual puppets, Ning Fan began to stabilize the improvement of his spirit sense brought by the evil cold goo. Peak Divine Transformation Realm Spirit Sense. To ordinary people, the improvement of their spirit sense might mean an improvement in their senses, pill refinement and weapon refinement techniques. However, to Ning Fan, it meant a direct increase in his strength. In other words, after using the Sense Soul Incarnation technique, Ning Fan's body turned illusory and he could fight against a Peak Divine Transformation Realm expert head-on with his incarnation. While he was stabilizing the level of his spirit sense, Ning Fan suddenly discovered another good thing. There was an extra trace of Fu Li ancestral blood in his body. In the beginning, he only had 4 drops of ancestral blood. Now, after he condensed 4 drops of ancestral blood, there was an extra purplish-black translucent blood trace beside the 4th drop of blood. He took a deep breath, feeling a little puzzled. When he snatched a drop of half-step ancestral blood in the Dragon Burial City, he did not devour it. Instead, he ignited it and went on a killing spree. Although it seemed crazy, it was actually a way to avoid danger after careful consideration. The ancestral blood of the Black Dragon was indeed precious. However, he already had the Fu Li ancestral blood. It was useless for him to devour it. In theory, after devouring the ancestral blood of the Black Dragon, it could increase his demon power and strengthen his bloodline. However, this strengthening did not include increasing the amount of ancestral blood. At most, it could improve the quality of his bloodline. Since he did not have any female cultivators of the dragon race by his side, the ancestral blood of the Black Dragon was naturally useless. If he keeps the ancestral blood, he might be besieged by 2 Star Lords at the same time. If he ignites the ancestral blood, it would be the end of his troubles. This item was too precious. That was why it was a crime to possess it. However, after he ignited the ancestral blood, the amount of Fu Li blood in his body increased. Is there any principle behind this that I can't figure out? Or could it be that the Fu Li blood is the remnant bloodline of other true spirits after they ignited it? Ning Fan put this matter aside. This trace of ancestral blood could be said to be of great significance. As long as he nurtures this blood trace well, it would be the time for him to condense the 5th drop of ancestral blood in the future when this blood trace grows strong and healthy. If he has the chance to obtain the ancestral blood of other true spirits in the future, he would be more than willing to ignite his bloodline again to see if he can condense another trace of ancestral blood. This time, Ning Fan could indeed be said to have a great harvest. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. Gui Chen and the others were left in the Star Sea forever to worship Ning Fan's statue and provide him with an endless supply of incense. Feng Han and the others temporarily stayed in the Li Kuan Palace to recuperate. They also decided not to enter the Sky Hall. Once they received Feng Zhang's order, they would return to the second realm. The sea breeze was a little bleak. In the end, Ning Fan broke through the surface of the ocean and left. She ran and Yuan Yao rode on the golden flame chariot and turned into a ray of golden light. The black dragon that was pulling the chariot was reduced to an ordinary size by Ning Fan as he did not want to shock the world anymore. Although the black dragon's size had changed, the chariot's speed hadn't decreased. It had been 2 months since they left Star Island. Wei Xian said that he would help Ning Fan stop the other geniuses for 6 months. However, even Yuan Yao had come to the Star Palace from the Northern Heaven. Ning Fan could not guarantee that there would not be other experts who would come to the Star Palace in advance. He awakened his medicine soul and used the star-tempering purple Ganoderma to reconstruct his sea of consciousness. Enter the Heavenly Hall, punish Concubine Z, rescue Lu Wu, and obtain the Star of the Celestial Emperor. Then he left. The tense and murderous atmosphere of the past 2 months did not make Ning Fan show any signs of fatigue. However, there was a hint of worry in his eyes all along. You actually have a golden flame chariot. This is the chariot of the ancient heavenly court. Why do you have it? After a few days of rest, Yuan Yao's mood was slightly better. She was enjoying the sea breeze while adjusting the phoenix hairpin from time to time. I was just lucky. Oh yeah, there's something I want to ask you. On the day I saved you, there was only the corpse of a realm beast that came to the Star Palace at the same time as you. Ning Fan said indifferently. There was only one. Impossible. Before I fell unconscious, I forcefully activated the Purple Desire Divine Technique. It should be enough to eliminate 2 realm beasts. Why is there only one corpse? Yuan Yao's phoenix eyes turned cold for a moment. Her coldness was not directed at Ning Fan. Instead, it was because she had guessed something. Could it be that the other realm beast is still alive? Then, where is it now? Yuan Yao thought of a possibility. Could it be that it escaped after getting injured? Ran was fiddling with something on an exquisite jade slip and answered casually. She did not tell Ning Fan what kind of jade slip she was inscribing and forbade him from looking at it. It seemed to be a little secret. No. This beast probably hasn't left. I am 70% sure that it has already infiltrated the Star Palace and is waiting for an opportunity to attack you. As for the remaining 30%, it isn't because I'm guessing that it has left. Instead, it has a 30% chance of dying under my magic technique. It's just that there's no corpse left. If that's the case, it would be great. Ning Fan's tone was firm but his eyes were filled with worry. He was worried that the surviving realm beast was still in the Star Palace, waiting to attack Yuan Yao. Why are you so sure that the other realm beast will stay in the Star Palace and not run away? Is there any basis for this guess? Yuan Yao suddenly became interested in Ning Fan. The latter was obviously a little fellow whose bone age was less than 400 years old. However, the way he spoke and acted was like an old man. Are you testing me? Ning Fan gave Yuan Yao a strange look. You can say that. Based on what? Realm beasts usually only attack immortal cultivators. You have already suppressed your cultivation base to the void fragmentation realm, but it still attacked you. This doesn't make sense. It's impossible for the immortal rotting poison to be carried by the realm beast. Someone must have plotted against you and purposely raised the realm beast. If there's someone instructing it, it won't leave until it reaches its goal. The third world of the Star Palace can only withstand void refinement realm cultivators at most. If that realm beast is still in the Star Palace, it would at most be at the void refinement realm. Otherwise, the third world would have long collapsed because of it. Therefore, I'm guessing that this beast is either dead or severely injured and is staying in the Star Palace, trying to find you and hunt you down. Ning Fan's words made Shi Ran confused. However, Yuan Yao nodded her head in agreement. That's what I thought too. You seem to have a good mind and strength. However, your cultivation method is a little rotten. Yuan Yao sighed softly and looked at Ning Fan, feeling pity. The yin-yang devil art collects yin to nourish yang. However, it's not a cultivation method of the righteous path. It's also difficult to cultivate it to the peak of the immortal Tao. In the past, I also had a friend, let's call her a friend for now. She also desired this kind of cultivation method. Not only did she secretly learn this cultivation method, but she also searched everywhere for the Emperor treasure, the yin-yang locket, which was left behind by immortal Emperor Chaotic Ancient. Yuan Yao sighed softly. In the yin-yang locket, Luo Yu's shoulders seemed to tremble slightly. The past was over. Even if it was the grudge between them in the past, it was still nostalgic. Yin-yang devil art? Shi Ran tilted her head, feeling puzzled. Isn't Ning Fan a member of the Fu Li demon race? Why did he become a cultivator of a devil art? Without explaining, Yuan Yao continued to persuade him with a regretful tone. This cultivation method isn't suitable for you. Plucking women is too harmful to the harmony of heaven. Moreover, it will eventually become entangled in the love between a man and a woman. You won't be able to cultivate to the supreme oblivion realm. In the end, you won't be able to break through to the peak of the immortal Tao. If you're willing, after I break the seal, I can help you abolish this cultivation method and choose another powerful fiend god cultivation method for you. Moreover, I have a friend who is an immortal from the Lost World Palace in the Northern Heaven world. He can grant you a place to ascend to the Northern Heaven and help you avoid the heavenly tribulation in the future. Yuan Yao said it out of goodwill. She did not want to see a good jade like Ning Fan being ruined by a rubbish cultivation method. However, if Yuan Yao had known that the yin-yang transformation wasn't a trash cultivation technique, but a terrifying divine technique that could be cultivated by the three clans simultaneously, she definitely wouldn't have said such superfluous words. A spot for ascension? Ning Fan stared at Yuan Yao. It seemed to be the third time that he was valued by the people of the Lost World Palace. Bei Xiaoman had taken a liking to Ning Fan, but she purposely refused to recruit him out of spite. Bei Li wanted to recruit him, but she did not have the chance to do so. Yuan Yao, on the other hand, directly promised Ning Fan a bright future. However, it might not necessarily be because she felt pity for Ning Fan's aptitude and talent. Perhaps, there were some complicated feelings in her heart. I will not give up on this merit law. Ning Fan's resolutely said. What? Do you know how powerful the cultivation method I am going to give you is? With your potential, if you cultivate this divine vein, you will be able to reach the void fragmentation realm in just 1,000 years. 10,000 years to break through to the life immortal realm. He was able to break through the 3 realms of perfected immortality in 30,000 years. In 100,000 years, you might even have the chance to become the immortal emperor. Are you willing to give up such a powerful technique just for a yin-yang transformation? Yuan Yao gently bit her lip. She had never been so nice to any man before. Today, she promised Ning Fan such a powerful cultivation method, but he actually rejected it. Is this brat an idiot? However, Yuan Yao did not know why she would be angry when Ning Fan rejected her cultivation method. Perhaps, she secretly hoped that Ning Fan would have a bright future and narrow the gap between them. Perhaps, she also desired something deep in her heart. However, the reality was too difficult and the gap between their identities was too huge. She did not even dare to think about it. Do you think that the cultivation method I am going to give me is not good enough? Ning Fan took a deep breath. His eyes became gentle. Memories flashed across his mind. All of them were connected to the yin-yang transformation. This cultivation method used to be my hope for revenge. But now it has a greater significance. I promised a woman that I will give her freedom by cultivating this cultivation method. I promised my master that I will revive my master's wife by cultivating this cultivation method. Most importantly, this cultivation technique was given to me by Jihe. My Tao is contained within it. I will not abandon it, just like how I can't abandon the 7-apricot city, my master, Jihe, and those women that I love. I don't know what it means to be emotionless. But if it comes to that, I don't think I will choose to be emotionless. Ning Fan's words were loud and clear. He was neither humble nor arrogant. His body was thin and weak, but his back was as majestic as a mountain. His expression was calm, but his eyes were as firm as a boulder. His cultivation base was at the divine transformation realm, but at this moment, there was Tao in his body. I have my own Tao. Ning Fan's words reverberated in Yuan Yao's ears for a long time, causing her beautiful eyes to be filled with admiration. With her current cultivation base, it was impossible for her to take a fancy to any of Ning Fan's merits. However, at this moment, Ning Fan's Tao heart was so firm that it made her, avoid abandoning realm true immortal, feel ashamed of her inferiority. It would be great if you were born 1,000,000 years earlier. Yuan Yao looked at the sky and smiled self-mockingly. Elder sister Bei Yao, what are you talking about? Shi Rant's gossipy heart was ignited. Nothing. According to your deduction, if that realm beast doesn't die, it will ambush me in the Star Palace. In that case, I won't have any strength to resist and I will only implicate you. Before entering the Heaven Palace, I will part ways with you. You underestimate me too much. Even though I'm a little selfish, I won't ignore the women who have slept with me before. Ning Fan teased her. What did you say? I dare you to say it again. Yuan Yao's gentle expression turned cold. No matter what, she did not like Ning Fan mentioning the past again. Alright, I won't talk about it anymore. However, you don't have to worry. Before you have the strength to protect yourself, I won't abandon you. Ning Fan shook his head and thought to himself, this Bei Yao is the serious type. Every action of hers is well-planned and meticulous. She cares about her reputation and integrity. Well, it's no wonder. If Bei Yao is Bei Xiaoman's elder sister and the mistress of the Lost World Palace, having her reputation destroyed should be a serious crime, right? Ning Fan could tell this kind of joke to other women but not to Yuan Yao. Forget it. This Bei Yao is a shedding void realm true immortal realm. I don't even understand the classification of true immortals, but she is already a high and mighty being. She and I only had one night of love. I don't think we will have a second chance to share the same bed. With her identity, she will naturally have other pursuers. Why would she take a fancy to me? I only want to ensure that she doesn't have to worry about her trip to the Star Palace. After she recovers her cultivation base, she will have ways to protect herself. Naturally, she won't take a fancy to me anymore. As for me, I just want to have a clear conscience. Ning Fan was not a fool. He knew that there was a huge gap between him and Yuan Yao. After all, there was a trace of stubbornness in his bones. If others do not take a fancy to him, he would not throw himself at them. Ning Fan remained silent. However, he did not have the intention to abandon Yuan Yao. Seeing that Ning Fan suddenly stopped joking, Yuan Yao was at a loss of what to do. In her heart, she suddenly felt a little touched but also a little disappointed. She was touched because she had never needed anyone's protection with her identity. Today, however, Ning Fan agreed to protect her without hesitation in the face of the possible existence of the realm beast. It was her first time experiencing the feeling of being protected. She was disappointed because her words seemed to have poked at Ning Fan's pride. I'm not looking down on you. It's just that. Just what? It's just that we... Forget it. You will understand in the future. Reality is cruel. Most of the time, people don't even have the right to choose their own fate. Yuan Yao looked at the distant sky as if she was recalling the past. How many years has it been since I last looked at the sky like a child? Do you still remember how many stars we lost together in the past? Yuan Yao was thinking if Ning Fan would understand that there is a kind of relationship in this world called fate but not fate. In a desolate abyss in the Seven Slaughter Sea, a rotting gigantic beast's injuries were slightly stabilized after devouring countless sea beasts. With a shake of his body, he turned into a cloaked man. His appearance was concealed, only revealing a pair of dark green eyes. He looked like an evil spirit. That lowly servant girl is seriously injured. I have sealed her cultivation to the nascent soul realm. If she falls into the sea of stars, she will definitely be eaten by the fierce beasts. However, I still need to find her corpse before I can report to my lord. If she didn't die, The cloaked burly man took a step forward and the sea region within a radius of 50,000 li turned into dust. His early void refinement realm cultivation base spread out. If she doesn't die, I'll make her suffer a fate worse than death. The palace master of the Lost World Palace, Yuan Yao. The burly man sneered evilly. Chapter 313. To cultivators, 2 months was just a period of meditation. Outside the Star Island, the female corpse would stand on the star reef every day and look at the sea of stars from afar. She did not know what kind of dangers Ning Fan was going through at the moment and how many massacres he had caused. However, she did not stick to Ning Fan like before. She could faintly feel that all of Ning Fan's killings were just for her sake. Light. The tide of the sea of stars made the female corpse calm down for the first time. She was just a dead person. She no longer had any memories or feelings. However, she still could not abandon Ning Fan in this life. Wu Yan also spent her days leisurely. During these 2 months, her injuries had already fully recovered. In just 2 short months, it was her first time worrying about someone's safety. The female corpse did not know where Ning Fan was or what he was doing, but Wu Yan knew. On that day, Ning Fan sent a message to them via his flying sword and told them to have a good rest. On that day, Ning Fan's tone was as calm as before, as if he was just going out to the sea to search for medicine and not to kill anyone. However, shocking news soon spread across the southern Star Island. A demonic might that made people's expressions change caused no demonic beast to dare to cause trouble on the southern Star Island anymore. Yen? Sensing Wu Yan and Yu Lingkong's arrival, the female corpse turned her head slightly and asked hesitantly. Light? Do you want to know where he is? Wu Yan was wearing a green feather robe. She stood there like a lonely imperial concubine in a cold palace and stroked the female corpse's hair lovingly. Wu Yan already knew that this female corpse who had been dead for many years was too important to Ning Fan. Wu Yan also had a good impression of the female corpse. She liked this pure and untainted lady and felt pity for her fate of becoming a corpse devil. I also don't know where Liu Bei is now. However, I know that everything he did was probably for you. He crushed the Ghost Might Pass, froze the Dragon Burial City, crushed the Southern Prison Kingdom with his palm, and overturned the Kuan Devil Sea. He should be back soon. I know everything he has done for you. The demons know, but you don't know. Wu Yan felt a little sad. The reason why Ning Fan went out to the sea was to search for soul sand and refine purple zoysia to repair the female corpse's sea of consciousness. The reason why Ning Fan killed them was because he wanted to shoulder the dangers of the Star Island alone and not let the 3 ladies who were resting on the island be disturbed. Wu Yan understood. She knew that this somewhat stubborn and cold young man actually had a gentler side to him. However, the dead woman would never understand that. The dead woman only nodded at Wu Yan's words. She could only understand the last sentence. Oh, she did not know what kind of danger Ning Fan had encountered. She only knew that Ning Fan seemed to be coming back soon. The female corpse would never understand that when she instinctively feared Ning Fan and avoided his embrace, it was actually a form of harm. That stinking brat is really a little scary. Even if I had recovered my strength, I would not dare to act recklessly in such a dangerous place like the Star Sea. This star sea is almost as dangerous as the endless sea. This little cucumber is really reckless. I haven't seen him for 2 months, and I miss him a lot. Yu Lingkong's expression was filled with admiration. She was a bold and unrestrained woman, so she naturally liked men who did things boldly. Ning Fan's crazy actions naturally made her, the female tyrant of the internal sea, feel inferior. Come to think of it, there were only 7 half-step void refinement realm experts in the internal endless sea. However, Ning Fan had single-handedly killed 9 half-step void refinement realm experts when he was burning his blood in the Star Sea. Moreover, he had killed more than 300 divine transformation realm experts. If this battle achievement spreads to the internal endless sea, Ning Fan's reputation would probably surpass any of the 7 venerated beings of the internal endless sea. Even Yu Lingkong herself did not notice that when she talked about Ning Fan's battle achievements, she who had always killed people like Scything Flax felt a little reverence. That's right. He always acts recklessly. There was one time in the Luo Yun sect when Big Sister Yu was not around. Liu Bei killed someone in a fit of rage to avenge Little Sister One. He stood on the cloud platform and swept his gaze across the world. He fought against the demons of the 9 divisions alone, but none of them dared to accept his challenge. At that time, he was really awe-inspiring. This was not the first time he acted recklessly. Wu Yan nodded lightly. She deeply agreed with Yu Lingkong's words. It was fine if Ning Fan was not enraged, but once he was enraged, he would go crazy. His madness struck fear into his enemies, but it made the woman behind him feel safe and warm. Bang! Just as the 3 ladies were thinking about Ning Fan, the hollow space in the sky above the Star Island was on the verge of collapsing again. Dark and pitch-black void cracks appeared in 7 to 8 parts of the sky at the same time. Traces of void wind blew out from them. Luckily, the cracks were not too big, which prevented them from forming a void storm. During the 2 months that Ning Fan had been away, it was not the first time that such a scene of the hollow space shattering had appeared. Wu Yan and Yu Lingkong were both intelligent and had extraordinary experiences. They could tell that the shattering of the hollow space was not a natural phenomenon. It was man-made. There's no mistake. Someone is attacking the Star Palace from the outside of the hollow space. They are trying to break the barrier of the Star Palace and enter this place. The Star Palace belongs to the 3rd world. Besides, the 3 worlds of the Land of Slumber are all within the territory of the Rain World. The Rain World is not the territory of the demon race. Therefore, even my Spirit King Palace and the true Spirit Realm demon race have to use the secret technique of the world passage in order to descend to this world. However, this group of people force their way into the Star Palace from the outside world. In other words, they are highly likely to be a force of the divine race. The 2 ladies speculated. However, a moment later, their beautiful eyes turned cold. Usually, even if the hollow space was shattered, it would recover very quickly. It was just like when those forces wanted to enter the Star Palace but were restrained by some kind of formation, preventing them from entering this place. Today, however, 8 parts of the hollow space were shattered at the same time. However, only 7 of them had recovered. The 8th part of the hollow space did not recover. From that part of the hollow space, there seemed to be endless streams of light. Then, nearly 100 figures in purple robes shot out continuously. All of them were at the nascent soul realm and above. There were 12 of them at the divine transformation realm and above. The leader of the group of dragons was a young man in purple robes. His chi was cold and his eyes were filled with evil purple chi. His bone age was less than 700 years old, but his cultivation base was at the mid-divine transformation realm. This person was not enough to make Yu Lingkong and the others feel fearful. The problem was that there were 2 old men in hemp robes standing behind this young man. One of the 2 old men was blind in his left eye while the other was blind in his right eye. However, both of them were at the half-step void refinement realm. Despite being so strong, they were standing respectfully behind the young man in purple robes as if they were his servants. It was enough to show how extraordinary this young man's identity was. Is this the Star Palace? Even though I don't know why there is an immortal formation-level maze formation in the hollow space, and I also don't know who has destroyed half of its power. In short, the Purple Robe Palace of the Northern Heavens Purple Soul Star region is the first force to enter the Star Sea. Congratulations to young Master for being the first to enter the Star Palace. Those demons came to the territory of our divine race and tried to seize the star of the Heavenly Emperor. What a joke! It's extremely difficult for them to descend from another world. It's impossible for them to have too many experts. I'm afraid they can't even send half-step void refinement realm experts. With us, the Kunwu Elders, we will certainly help young Master seize the Emperor Star. If young Master obtains the Emperor Star, you will certainly break through to the late Divine Transformation Realm. A late Divine Transformation Realm expert who is 700 years old is rare even in the entire Purple Soul Star region. Moreover, this Emperor Star will be very useful in the trip to the ancient Heavenly Court. If young Master obtains the star and becomes the Master of the ancient Heavenly Court, the White Devil sect will be nothing. Well said. If the two of you help me, Zichuan, to seize the Emperor Star, when we return to the Purple Soul Star, you will each get 2 purple life pills that you have been yearning for a long time. Purple life pills. We will certainly not disappoint you and help young Master seize the pill. The 2 Kunwu elders cupped their fists and saluted. Their eyes were filled with passion. If they could obtain the purple life pills of the Purple Soul Star, there would be hope for them to break through to the void refinement realm in this lifetime. The 2 old men's eyes fell upon the star island below. Immediately, their faces were filled with joy. There was a star island in front of them and there was a star door on the island. They were really lucky. Not only were they the first to enter the Star Palace, but they also found the star door directly. Once they entered it, they would certainly reach the Heavenly Palace. When their eyes swept across the edge of the Star Island and saw Wu Yen and the other 2 women coming from the Kunwu Elders, they immediately revealed lustful expressions and licked their lips. 2 of them are at the late Divine Transformation Realm and 1 of them is at the mid-Divine Transformation Realm. Among these 3 women, 1 has a first-class figure, 1 is a refined corpse and the last one is a little girl. Really, there are all kinds of women here. They are all excellent human cauldrons. The cultivation of the 2 Kunwu elders was not considered high in the Purple Soul Star region. However, they were notorious for their love of harming female cultivators. Their actions were lawless. As long as they were interested in a woman and the force of that woman was not a threat to them, no one would not dare to snatch her away. However, with the Purple Dress Palace as their backing, no powerful force dared to kill them. Many beautiful women had died because of them. Today, the 2 of them had turned their attention to Wu Yen and the other 2 women. Young Master, the star door is on the island. It seems to have been entered by the demon race. It will take a few more days before it opens again. Before entering the Heavenly Palace, the 2 of us want to have some fun on this island. The fun was naturally for Wu Yen and the other 2 women. Zichuan frowned. Considering that he still needed the help of the 2 Kunwu elders to enter the Heavenly Palace and fight for the star of the Heavenly Emperor, he did not stop them. He only said coldly, "Be quiet. Go and come back quickly." Alright. There are 3 great beauties below. After we capture them, young Master can choose one of them first. The remaining 2 will be shared by the 2 of us. The 2 Kunwu elders laughed evilly. No need. I'm not interested in women at all. Zichuan closed his eyes coldly. As for the 2 Kunwu elders, they had already lost their patience and rushed downwards. The appearance of the experts of the Purple Dress Palace happened in the blink of an eye. At this moment, Yu Lingkong and Wu Yen felt the lustful eyes of the 2 Kunwu elders in the sky. Their faces turned cold. Especially Yu Lingkong. She was really angry. If she regained her original strength, even if the opponents were 2 half-step void refinement realm experts, she would certainly rush forward and risk her life as long as they dared to violate her. However, at this moment, Yu Lingkong's cultivation base had been greatly damaged. Even with the power of her Moon Sense secret technique, she could at most block the attack from one of them. The other half-step void refinement realm expert could easily eliminate Wu Yen and the female corpse. Hurry up and go. Yu Lingkong no longer had her usual carefree manner. At this moment, her eyes were cold and imposing like a monarch who had been sitting on a high position for a long time. Without hesitation, she held the female corpse and Wu Yan's hands. Then, she bit the tip of her tongue and went straight to the North Star Island. The South Star Island only had the three of them, while the North Star Island had the help of the demon bear. Yu Lingkong did not know how Ning Fan made the old bear cower. However, she believed that as long as they escaped to the northern island and meet up with the demon bear and the others, they would be able to scare the enemies away even if there were two half-step void refinement realm experts. I just didn't expect that I, the dignified lord of the divine space island, would actually be soft-hearted and save people one day. The people she saved were the female corpse and Wu Yen, who belonged to Ning Fan. A ray of moonlight turned into a trace of moonlight smoke and flashed across several 10,000 li. The Star Island was not large. It only had a circumference of several 100,000 li. To Yu Lingkong, she only needed to fly 10 times to reach the old bear's lair. Her speed caused the two Kunwu elders to be startled and slightly fearful. This Yu Lingkong's speed was not any slower than the two of them. However, after confirming that Yu Lingkong was just a late divine transformation realm cultivator, the two of them immediately let down their guard and their lust was ignited again. Interesting. Interesting. This little girl can run quite fast. However, don't even think about escaping from our palms. Soul escape technique. The two old men turned into soul smoke and chased after the three ladies. The speed of their soul smoke was slightly faster than Yu Lingkong's. In just a few moments, they had already caught up to Yu Lingkong. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? After letting out a cold laugh, the two old men's soul light flashed strangely and they actually appeared in front of Yu Lingkong. Each of them sent out a palm strike without showing any mercy. They were determined to severely injure Yu Lingkong with a single strike and make the three ladies submit to them. You're courting death. Yu Lingkong deeply believed that she had never been so humiliated in her entire life. Even when she had a fierce battle with Ning Fan's cucumber, she was willing to participate in it. However, these two pretentious things in front of her wanted to humiliate her. What right do they have? She was truly enraged. The two moon-colored stars on her glabella shone intensely. Her complexion turned pale rapidly. Zhang Yu Lingkong uttered these two words with difficulty. As the moon shone brightly, the atmosphere within 1,000 li immediately turned pitch black. Moreover, traces of moonlight poured down on the two old men's bodies like a thin veil. The moment the moonlight shined, the expressions of the Kunwu elders changed greatly. In just an instant, a third of their seas of consciousness were melted by the moonlight. They hastily retreated out of the range of moonlight's attack. The two of them spat out blood and were seriously injured. Moon burial technique. This is the inheritance of the ancient heavenly court's immortal concubine Zhang Yu. You actually know how to use it? No answer. At this moment, Yu Lingkong had forcefully activated this secret technique. She had suffered quite a bit of damage to herself. However, the damage she had done to the Kunwu two elders was even greater. At the instant the two of them retreated, Yu Lingkong seized the opportunity to flee and once again widened the distance between them. The Kunwu elders were so angry that they wanted to kill someone. A third of their sea of consciousness had been irretrievably melted away. Both of their divine senses were greatly damaged. Damn it. Damn it. Originally, we only wanted to take you in as a human cauldron, but since you don't know how to appreciate favors, after we capture you this time, the two of us will definitely make you suffer a fate worse than death. The two Kunwu elders no longer underestimated their enemy. They flew with all their might. This time, they only needed 3 shifts to catch up to Yu Lingkong. Looking at Yu Lingkong, who had forcefully activated the secret technique and whose combat strength had been greatly damaged, the two old men felt very pleased. Then they slammed their palms down. Yu Lingkong clenched her teeth. It was difficult for her to dodge these two palms. Let's fight them to the death. Wu Yen was already furious. The The female corpse's eyes were also cold. However, before the two women could make their moves, a simple and honest voice filled with disdain came from afar. Although the voice was still far away, the owner of the voice had already appeared in front of the two palms. With a wave of his bare paw, the two soul-light palms were smashed into pieces. This old man is the master of Star Island, Manshan. The three of them are the wives of my friend. Who dares to touch them? The Kunmu elders were shocked. This demon bear that suddenly appeared was definitely not weaker than either of them. That you're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.